And I said, there was a 58 Chevy, and I've just recently made 4 videos about it. And
Uh-huh.
what are you doing with this? Oh, I bought it for parts. Oh, it's got a black cab. It's a 58 Chevy. No. And this was three years ago. Like I said, it's in the Diamond T video that I've got my most video. You know, yay, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. So what's wrong with it? Well, this kid tried to do a suicide door on the truck. Oh, he's like, no. And I say it in the video, too. You can do it. It's just he's like a 17-year-old kid, and nobody helped this kid. It's just like he watched videos and, you know.
Yeah.
And not only that, just the driver's side door is suicide. The other door is totally normal. It was like, and he mangled the whole inside of the door when he did it on both sides. And the more you look at the cab, it would need major reconstruction to make this thing. There's a Chevy, we think a Chevy 250 in there. And for the longest time, that was down in the yard. Parts. And then he actually sold a bunch of parts off of it. So, okay, cool. That's neat. And then what are you going to do with this? Well, I'm just going to scrap it. So all of a sudden, it appeared near the shop. Hey, what? When are you taking that? I just want to get a little more metal, and then we're going to take it. Well, I've been on you about the, will it run videos. I think I should be streaming by now. And he keeps telling me, video unavailable. What's going on? Oh, okay. It's muted, so there's not this incessant audio loop. So, I want to do a will it run. You're wasting your time. That's garbage. That's what a will it run is. And I've been explaining to him, people around the world get emotionally vested in old motors that they want to see you win or fail. But more importantly, and then he started laughing when I said this again, and he laughed through the whole thing. They want to sit there in their favorite chair or at the break workstation. Yeah, I would do this. This is what I would have done. You're not doing this right. I would have. And so, a week ago, well, it's the video. I posted it that day.
Yeah.
It's a, Joe, what are you doing today? Well, I've got never-ending projects out there, Joe. What do you mean, what am I doing today? I have to pick one. I said, today I'm going to mess with that 250 on that Frankenstein frame and 58. Why? To make a will it run. Why? To make a will it run. It's stuck. It's seized. Pete says it's seized. I don't know. It looks really new the more I look at it. The cab's fucked. Oh, are we 6 minutes in before I start? No, we're only like 3.5. Doesn't matter. I don't really want anybody under 18 watching this anyway. The cab is screwed, but something tells me that motor might turn. Not like the 235 I have in my backyard, that is a waste of time. But it's fun because, it's a piece of history from 1954 that's in my backyard. After I'm done, we'll part it out or whatever. So, Joe does not understand the concept of a will it run video, which is odd because, dude, you're like practically a mechanic. You've got like 2 car clubs. You meet every Friday night at 39th Avenue and Northern with a bunch of other guys that have old cars, and they sit around and drink soda and eat pizza and cookies, and people come up and like, wow! I did the same thing. I made a video of it the night I went out there. And he's like, oh, you should come out there. Dude, I want to go, but life's a little complicated right now. And then I just had a night job for like 9.5 months. So what are you doing this Friday? Working. Sorry. I'd much rather come out and hang out with old cars and you and listen to all the stories. And especially there's a guy with a 64 out there that it's orange and it's a step side. So it's the same year as the one I have, but it's a different bed. And much further along than I am as far as body work. So while I'm making the video and Joe and I are messing with the engine, and you gotta put the mixture in there, okay? And I thought I had transmission fluid. It turned out I didn't even look at it. My brain went, that's transmission fluid, okay? Because there's a big thing of chemicals. So Joe's you need to do the, and he's right. And even Guy commented, he's like, oh yeah, he's right. He's not wrong, but he's also missing the concept. Up to 680,000 people have watched these kind of videos. People get really into whether or not you can get an old clunker rust heap back to life. So while Joe and because I wanted him to, he's like, what are we doing? And I said, well, I'm doing this. And he completely takes over the project. And you could hear me in the video. Hey, you want me? Can I use the wrench? Dude, just let him go, dude. He's a force of nature. Those guys near their 80s are just wind them up and set them loose. So while we're doing that, Pete is making videos for the. Mm-hmm. It's now the Hot Rod and Truck Ranch. It was the Truck and Hot Rod Ranch. He keeps changing the name for the ranch. And I didn't say anything that day. So I'm going to do this later. Good. I encourage you. We've been talking about this. But all of a sudden, it was this sudden shift. So I'm like, something happened. He talked to somebody. There was some exchange, because there's no way that I've been on you for 3 years, and then all of a sudden one day you just wake up and decide that I know what I'm talking about. So he lives, the guy's like in the state. No, maybe he's in Utah. I heard the story once, and we were doing a bunch of things, and it's like the video's out there. We're usually having like 2 or 3 discussions at a time. So he met a guy that came out to the ranch that used to be on Fab Rats and worked with 4 Fab Rats, and they went out on their own, and now he's doing it on his own. And, you came to the right place for parts. Holy crap. There's rows of doors, rows of fenders, rows of hoods, rows of bumpers, rows of... What do you want? There's glass, you need a muffler? We got like an art sculpture of that. The mountain of mufflers had to be taken down to repair the cinder block wall, but it was awesome. It's in a couple videos, but now they're all stacked up neatly. It's like, oh, that is better, but the art aspect of it is gone. He was just throwing, and lizards and rabbits live under there, and So Judy got injured very badly real recently. A gust of wind.
Judy is who?
Judy is Pete's wife. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Judy is awesome. She's in a whole bunch of my videos. She's that woman's voice that you always hear when we're out there. So she is the, if you call, you usually get Judy, and then, or you get Pete, because she's going to know if the part is available and how much it costs, because she's the one that goes through and organizes and labels and has the database of, you need a steering wheel ring for a 1956 Chevy truck? Oh, we got 3 of them. Such and such dollars for what they got a bunch of stuff. So she was telling me that they met, and that's the missing puzzle piece. Thank you. It all makes sense now. I'm like, this is really good. In essence, Pete met a guy who's one step above where we are with like YouTube and Rumble and Locals and TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. And that guy's actually a presence, making an income. It's one thing for me all the time to go there every week and be like, all right, 230 subscribers. Just need to get to 1,000. That's just opening the door to the bigger race. It's right. That It's the same thing of, and you heard it all the times before, and it's the reason. Okay, if you're a show or a movie, they may or may not expect more from you, material-wise. But if you are a series, more. I don't like that. Do the other thing. Where's that other guy? Why'd you get rid of him? Well, he was a problem on the set. Give him lots of drugs. Get him back. It's better if he's on there, dude. Go.
Do this.
Because it's so hard to figure out. It's so easy. You just do this and this and this on YouTube and that. Yes, I've watched all those videos as well, but I also have to do a full-time job and maintain a house, and we got all this other crap going on, and that's part of the, your show's not edited and it's really long. Yeah, but it's raw, and people like that. There's no, like, cuts or takes or,
Yeah.
If I could do that stuff, I would. And then...
If I knew how to do it, I would.
Yeah, or if I owned the software, which... Software that Paul gave me 15 years ago that could do that, now I have to rebuy the licensing for... I fucking hate the pay-per-view future, because that's what our world, the temporary pay-per-view future. And, I guess it's just, Ron and Rob have stuff going on, and I didn't really hear from Guy, so, because he's been very busy. So, so to sum it up, then later I talked to Pete, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to start. So then we start to make a video, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're filming into the sun. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, because for right now, he's kind of stiff. He's not natural when he's trying to do the narrative. And it's like, dude, you don't even have to do an explanation. Just do it the way I was doing it, where you just turn on the camera and we start working on stuff. My videos end up being short because you're going to do that? Yeah, okay. And then he sees me pull out my phone, and he sees me to start recording. And then the next thing I know, hey, the next thing I know, hold this. And now I got to turn the phone off, and I need two hands to... Hello and welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
I haven't even done the intro yet. We're like 14. This is the longest delayed blast intro ever. And this one's kind of, I don't know when we were going to start. Hopefully Ron and Guy will join us. If not, there's always next week. So, hello and welcome to the Supreme Council of the Master Geeks Lodge. I am Bill Kelly, Hornswoggle the Great, one of your many co-hosts on the Council of Geekdom and Geekyhood. And with me I have...
I'm Kris. Writer-creator for Cortex Media, which is not going to be around for much longer.
And I am Rob the Blacksmith, currently working with a lighter that does not wish to perform its task. So, we retire that one.
Are we going to go out in the shop and you're going to start it with Mount Gas again?
If I have to, I'll fire up the torch. You know that.
That's why I'm laughing, because I expected something like that to happen if you're like, oh, crap, that was my last lighter, which happens with smokers. No, I got plenty. Oh, that's right, I gave those away.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's right, I gave those away. Fuck. Okay, yeah, I need one, thanks. Oh, I posted it, and I'm going to post it on... So today... Way back in the before times, in 1902, although I watched it, the actual movie, colorized on Netflix, and they have it as 1905. But either way, I kind of believe Wikipedia over, over Netflix. Not to be on either one, but... who fucking cares? It came out just after the 1900s. and that is the trip to the moon. Or
Is that why you sent that to me?
yes.
Okay.
Well, we can have a no-topic show where we just talk, or generally I like to have at least one thing to start out on, and before we spiral into 14 other topics. Which, on one hand, because people right away,
Oh my god!
people right away
I
are
hate
either like,
animals.
I'm not watching that, or really, only 3 hours. So that's the two extremes on YouTube. And let me do today. Today is Orange Cat Appreciation Day. Yes, I love cats, but they're my favorite. And then what was the other one? Hold on. It's easier.
Orange Cat Appreciation Day. Those are tabbies, right?
Yeah, Ginger Tabby Day.
Or Ginger Tabby Day. All right.
Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. Well, I think Siamese can, or
No.
Orange Cat. Let's just
No.
keep it that.
They're more gray and black, aren't they?
Foodie Colors Day. No, I have a gray and black tabby now. Venus is somewhere, and a tortie, and anyway. National Tofu Day in the UK.
They can keep that one.
Yeah,
They can keep it.
tofu's okay, but tofu's okay when it's like in something along with something else. Here's your salad. It's got chunks of tofu. Oh, why? Oh, uh-oh. Oh, that's not because of me.
Oh.
National Word Letter Writing Day. Ditch the chat.
What? Wait.
Ditch the tech and actually pen to paper. Which, yeah, in theory, but in reality, oh man, I have terrible spelling, penmanship, and sentence structure. It's better on a computer.
Nobody can read my penmanship.
Yeah, I write like a caveman. That's why. It's cost me a lot of jobs, too. Probably this last one that I went to be a lead for a pest control. Are you back?
Yeah, working on it.
Oh, okay.
There's clouds outside, so my internet must be afraid.
Just like last week with the monsoon.
Like last week.
Oh, so
I was told, because I didn't have to work last week, thank God, in the rain. The customers, it was raining so hard at work that the customers were driving up to the front door to have Corey and them load the cars up with their groceries.
I don't know who Corey is, but he sounds like a very
Corey's my manager.
He's a brave man.
Corey's my manager at work.
Right.
So they literally drove up to the front doors and had them load up the groceries in their cars right there by the front door so that they wouldn't get wet.
I believe it. Because we were inside, but from everyone's stories, that monsoon was reminiscent of 1993.
Wow.
Which was a really bad monsoon. There were really bad ones in the 80s and before, but I didn't live here before the 79 we came out here. But, yeah. 93,
yeah, they said...
Go ahead.
They were saying that the parking lot was full. I mean, it was like above your ankles full in the parking lot. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm glad I was off.
I was over at Scottsdale and Gold Dust, and there's a Circle K now that's an actual store. But at this time in 1993, it was you were in a booth, and there were like 22 pumps. They were just pumps.
Uh-huh.
And a bathroom. That was it. It was the afternoon. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the monsoon hit. Maybe not 4. Don't quote me. It was like early afternoon. It wasn't near 7 or 8 when the sun goes down, or like now when it's a little more. It's just as bad. But I looked over and I couldn't see the light of the traffic light that was right at the intersection. Like,
oh my!
It was so bad. The rain was coming in almost sideways. And you know how old school where you slip the money under? Not now where everyone has a little grabby thing where it pulls it in a tray. But I had to find towels to get the water out of my.
Wow.
That's how bad it was. I had to go. It was a self-service station, and I was pumping gas that day for somebody's aunt, somebody's grandma, several of them. Oh, thank you so much. Stay in your fucking car. Oh my God.
Don't get out.
You're like 70 pounds, and I'm not going to chase you across. Oh, yeah. Grandma's gone. Oh, hold on, I got her. It was unreal. Because we've had a couple good ones lately, but in the last 10 years, it's been relatively calm. 15, 20 years ago in that span, and 25 years, we've had a couple good ones where walls got knocked down, trees got ripped out, fences came. But back then, in the early 90s, there is a awesome recreation park, workout facility, pool, and stuff at Cactus and Scottsdale Road. And it's recessed. You go down when you go into it, and the park is down. The pool is up here, but everything else is down. This thing was filled to the building. Like, you could lift weights and be like, oh my God, it was like a lake. Nothing like that has ever happened before because the drains backed up. Because we've got okay drains out here. Sometimes they're not so great, but this was, like you said, like last week with your parking lot filling up. That's what it reminded me of. Where it's like, once the main drain gets just so much debris in there that it's just clogged, it's over.
Back in those years, we used to have, we had swiftwater rescues quite often, but during that monsoon season, we had failures of the pumps on the I-17. So each of the underpasses on the I-17, as you're heading north, there are pumping stations down there. Those stations have been down there for a very long time. They've been upgraded every so often. That year, a bunch of the pumping stations couldn't keep up. So we had underpasses that were full. And so we were getting, thankfully, my first duty area didn't include the freeway, but you had a lot of rescues that happened because people were going along and they just thought until ADOT decided, no, we're closing the freeway. You will get off at this location and you cannot get back on again for miles because these pumping stations are overwhelmed.
Yeah. The best thing is when you meet people from back east who have never had relatives that have come out here, who have never talked to people who have ever been to Phoenix or the outlining areas. And tell me about these flash floods. No, we're not in monsoon season. It's okay. Unless a canal explodes, and we'll all hear about that immediately, we're good. What is it? I thought this was a desert. And you always hear that and you're like, well, yeah, that's the main problem, isn't it? It's a dusty, oily area, and we don't get a lot of rain. What's our one of us has to know the per capita? Oh,
we get about 6 inches a year.
But
the joke has always been, everybody says, well, Arizona's dry. We get 6 inches a year. The problem for us is it all comes within about 3 weeks. So people go, well, what does that mean? And they think, well, look at it this way. Have you ever looked at a dry river? You've seen it's fracked. Well, out here, the clay gets so dry and dries so deep that for the first hour in the desert, the water doesn't get a chance to seep down into the ground. It runs off. And that's why when I was a kid, back in the early 70s, every time the monsoon season came around, so in early June and sometimes in May, they would start radio campaigns, television broadcasts, or television that said, monsoon season, if you can see the storm, get out of the river bottom. stay out of the low-lying areas. If you can see the storm, the water is coming, because it's not so much a problem that you have the rain that happens in the city and it collects. What happens is the rain, we live in a big bowl. So the rain falls on all of the nice little mountains around us. And it picks up speed and it picks up friends as it comes down the mountains.
Friends.
And then it flows right into these stream beds. And the stream beds all flow down into the Salt River. And the Salt River during the summertime, during the monsoon season, can get, or used to get, as wide as a half a mile across in town of water. In 1981 and 82, there was only one bridge that crossed the Salt River between Phoenix and Tempe, and that was the Mill Avenue Bridge, and that had been built in the 30s by the Army Corps of Engineers. And so in 81 and 82, the monsoon was so bad, they had to close the Mill Avenue Bridge because the water was lapping over the edge of the Mill Avenue Bridge. And so you could not get from Phoenix to Tempe or Tempe to Phoenix. And that was for, I think it was about 48 hours that you could not go through there. And literally, the road, Scottsdale Road, Rural Road, went into the river, but it was paved into the river bottom and came back out the other side.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Hayden. It went down into
McKellips,
came back up. All the way up to, what was it, 19th Avenue,
other side.
27th, 35th, all of those roadways that crossed the Salt River, went through the Salt River, went underneath. That year they found out that there was an old dump, an old city dump, that was down in the area, and I want to say it's probably between 16th Street and 7th Avenue on the Salt Lake, or on the Salt River. And it was on the north side. The monsoon was so bad that it had eroded away all of the ground and moved the Salt River over far enough that it exposed this old city dump.
Gross.
That had been there in the early teens. Nobody had known about it. It had all been forgotten. It had all been covered up. Nobody thought about it. It was far enough away from the river that nobody thought, except here comes the monsoon rain. So when they built Tempe Town Lake, the people lost their mind because old timers like me said, why would you put a dam in the middle of the river? Well, the river's always dry. Not during monsoon season.
Welcome. Let me tell you about 1978, and it was even worse than the early 80s. And I can remember my dad was working for Channel 3 and before he started working for 12, and he borrowed a company truck to go get river rock out of the desert, and he and I went into the deep desert and got river rock. I'm like 6 years old. I'm helping. And he wanted to go see the road for himself. And we were living it like over by, remember where Fry's Electronics was down on like Guadalupe and the I-10?
Yeah.
Like diagonally from, there's like a John F. Long housing tract in there. We used to live down there for like a year and a half when we first moved to Arizona. I went to Frank School in Guadalupe for first grade, half a second. And holy crap. What, 79 was one of those 100-year floods? And
we had a number of them in that sequence, yeah.
Yeah, and they put 8-foot-high mounds of dirt on like McKellips and Rural and McClintock and to keep idiots from driving because the water looked like a pipe had burst. It was going that fast where Tempe Town Lake is now. I can't wait till 2079.
That's why the Corps of Engineers had to build the Indian Bend Wash. So originally, Indian Bend Wash was literally an old creek that ran down Hayden in Scottsdale. And they came through and they did all of this beautification, and they put these beautiful parks in there. There's a beautiful golf course. They put, originally that was the training center for the San Francisco Giants and the Phoenix Giants, and they used to have three big Major League Baseball training centers right there in Scottsdale. And as a kid, we used to love to go down there. But they had to rebuild that section after those storms because it would flood out so bad that it would close Hayden. You couldn't drive down Hayden at all. You could not get through that area in Scottsdale. So the Corps of Engineers came in, they rebuilt a bunch of that stuff. Years later, so in the 90s, when we had another big storm, that was when the city of Scottsdale got with, I think it may be a state law, but the city of Scottsdale passed the stupid motorist. That wasn't the technical name, but that was the intent. Because people would drive through the wash that were full of water, and the city fire department would have to come and rescue people out of these washes. And like Bill was saying, you get into that wash, and it would swallow a full-size pickup truck. And so it was costing the city extraordinary amounts of money to send the fire department out there to rescue people when put up big barricades, and the city was like, do not drive through. People would go around it. So it became a matter that they would start, if they had to rescue you, you paid the full cost. So that was the cost of the engine company with 4 firemen. That was the cost of the ambulance with 2 medics. That was the cost of the police department, and the cost of recovery equipment, which was a private towing company that would come and pull it out. And so, you ended up getting, you got a pretty big bill, and your insurance company wasn't going to pay it. So,
it's called the idiot tax, or it's.
They called it the stupid motorist law.
Stupid motorist law.
There it is. Called it.
Yeah. Well, it's in effect back then, but now it's actually in effect.
It was failure to obey traffic barricades or something like that.
Yeah.
But it literally became the stupid motorist law, and that was what it was billed as on all 3 of the major networks. So they would say, "Oh yeah, so stupid motorist law."
Yeah. You see it in the news every couple years, and this is what you have to explain to the people that I talked about that are not from Arizona. They don't know anything about it. It's like you had said, in the city, in the metropolitan area, you're pretty much okay unless something really wrong happened, but that's an extenuating circumstance. But it's usually you hear in the outlying areas where people that live on or near the res or in one of these super rural areas, they're not paying attention. They're not listening to announcements or the radio or the news or anything, and they get caught off guard, and that's when it happens to them where they get, and flash floods, the ones that can actually kill you, and everything that Rob talked about, they last how many, 5 minutes max? It's boom, it's like a fire.
Yeah, from the moment that you hear the water coming, because it'll sound like a thunderstorm.
It's too late the moment you hear
you hear it. You've usually got about 3 to 5 minutes before the wall of water is going to hit you, and that's literally what you're looking at. Oftentimes, this wall, because you can hear it, can be anywhere from 6 to 10 feet in height and spanning the width of whatever wash you happen to be in. Yeah. And you're talking about millions of gallons of water a minute coming down this river bottom that was not intended for that level. Yeah.
I could handle it. Did you ever go out deep in the ocean? No, you can't.
Yeah, it's quite frightening. I mean, I learned from Grandpa. When we would be up at the ranch, Grandpa would look around during monsoon season, and Grandpa told me, pick up your tools. Could be beautiful, sunny, bright day. Grandpa would look up, and he'd say, pick up your tools, we're heading back. And you didn't ask questions. You put your stuff back in the truck, and we headed back to the house. And that was the first indicator to me as a real young teenager that there was something coming. By the time we get back to the house, Grandpa could sit there and he'd say, "You hear that? Yeah, that's not thunder. That's water coming down the Sycamore Creek." And it would get there and it would be running as a trickle. And 5 minutes later, quite literally, it's bank to bank and it's flowing like it, like it was coming for you. And the storm still hadn't hit where we were. So I tell that to my grandkids. I've told that to my sons for years. I tell that to my grandkids now. If you can see the storm, we're in the desert, we get up and out of the lowland.
Yeah. If you see the flash flood warning, don't leave your house. Just wait till it's over. It's not going to last
too late.
long. Yeah. It's just stay put. But
usually when it storms, and I've noticed this working at the grocery store for the last 5 years, when it storms, everybody goes to the grocery store.
Yeah.
We get super, super busy when it's raining out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it.
People walking home, people jogging, people waiting for the bus.
No, they're driving. They actually come in the rain to go to the grocery store.
It might have
it's weird.
It might be romantic, or maybe have to do something with nostalgia. It might be just human nature. That's interesting. You've brought up another interesting psychological, because it's like, why do people go around barriers? Well, there's only like 4 reasons. 1, you're not paying attention. 2, you have a low IQ. 3, you can't tell me what to do. Okay, that doesn't work so well in every instance in life. And the other one, there's a conspiracy. Why don't you want me to go around the barrier? Is there aliens? Bigfoot is over there. Perhaps it's the Yeti, Drunko. No, dude. You should be asking yourself, why don't you want me to go around? What's over there? And like Rob said,
What's over there?
You could hear the water. Why would you tempt fate?
Yep, it's the overconfidence that has often been the problem. And I'm grateful that most of the areas that I worked, we didn't have to do as many swift water rescues. We did a lot of support for them. But you still have a lot of the river bottom dry washes that ran through the areas in Peoria, Glendale, and North Phoenix and Sun City and Surprise and Avondale and all of these areas. In those days, they were not built out like they are today.
Yeah.
And they were still, some of those areas were still very much so in the floodplain. Floodplain is identified as such because when the water flows from the mountain, from the rainstorm, it goes and it hits those areas and it will flood them. And it's always been interesting. If you ever come to visit the Phoenix area, take the opportunity to drive north on 35th Avenue. Go north of the Deer Valley area so that you can drive over the top of the Arizona Diversion Dam that supports the Cap Canal program. It's very interesting because this diversion dam was built with the intent to control the 50 and 100-year floodwater when they come, because that area had always floodplain. It was actually a slightly lower area than some of the areas around it. There was a large dry riverbed that ran the area. The frightening part of it is when you go to drive over this diversion, there are houses built on both sides of this diversion. They built out all these homes. So in the early 2000s, I was with my then fiance. We were driving through the area. She said, "I like it out here. These are beautiful new homes. I'd like to buy a house out here." And I looked at her and I said, "Which side of the diversion dam do you want to live in?" And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "This big hill that we just drove over, that's not a natural part of the landscape. That's a flood diversion dam. And the houses on one side or the other are in the floodplain. Now, if you buy the house on the wrong side of the diversion, you have to buy flood insurance from FEMA or from an insurance carrier. because you will not be covered when the water comes.
Mm.
She looked at me and didn't believe me. I took her back, showed her the great big monolith sign, identified it, and then in those days you could still get floodplain maps from your insurance carrier. So I brought out the floodplain maps and I said, "This is where we were. This is the floodplain. Now do you understand why I don't want to buy a house in that neighborhood?"
We're going to sit down and watch the movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And then we're going to talk about the whole town. The whole fucking town. Did you see that? You watched the movie with me?
Yep. I don't want to be looking for your ring in a roll-top desk floating underneath 10 million gallons of water.
Reach under there in that cabinet. See that movie? Yeah. Evan Almighty. Now we're going to watch that one. It's about a dam that explodes. We're good at dams in Arizona, and we're good at the canal system because we have to be. You have to conserve water. You don't get a whole lot, and it's expensive from other states. I've been, as a kid, we live in the desert, turn off the water. Me as an adult, we live in the desert, turn off the water.
Where did our canal system come from?
Aliens.
No.
Aliens.
The Hohokams.
Yeah.
Our Hohokam Indians, the lost people. And that's the name given to them is the lost people. Had created a canal system.
They got it from ancient aliens.
There it is. They created this incredible canal system in this valley that allowed them to turn it into a very fertile growing area. And what many people don't know, unless you sat through all of your Arizona history classes for 12 years in school, most of the roadways in Phoenix are aligned with original Hohokam canals that were dug in the area and were laid out so that they could have their land so that they could actually grow food. So major roadways are aligned in many cases with some of the original canals that were found in the area. So a lot of our irrigation canals mimic that system that we have been using here since the 30s, the 20s and 30s, even before that, really, to get water. So the Salt River Project, that was a big portion of that. In fact, the Arizona Fall was the first hydroelectric dam system in the valley, providing hydroelectric power to the home in what is now South Scottsdale. And the falls still exist there, and you can go and see the original facility, and they have all the history and whatnot. But even that is laid out on some of the original canals, some of the original river bottom.
River bottom nightmare.
Yes,
Sorry.
I'm an old man, and I can say these things.
My father dragged us to every museum, every dam, every ruin, every area. We went out, looked at the dinosaur footprints near Tuba City and the Painted Desert. That's out in the middle of fucking nowhere if you've never been here. Pay a kid $5 to go. Seriously.
Good old days. Going to towns like Y, Arizona. And it is spelled Y.
Or, for aliens, no, man. I think that they did the Egypt business, and then they came over here, and they're like, yeah, Chaco Canyon. And then they went one summer, and they're like, you know what? Fuck this. This is worse than that Egypt nonsense. Mexico, let's go. South Teotihuacan. We're going down to make a big house. It's going to be great.
I have to say, I don't think that the aliens stopped here. I think that the aliens view Earth like most sane people would view driving through East LA or South Detroit. When the aliens come through this area, they tell the kids, roll up the windows.
Lock the doors.
Lock your door.
And it's sad, too, because I went to San Francisco in 1993 on my 21st birthday weekend, and it was a beautiful city, and I had the time of my life. And, yeah, there was homeless people around, but they were a .00 number percentage sign amount of, and most of them had instruments and they were busking because every other fucking down by the wharf and over by what's the big giant observatory park, I think it's called. It's gorgeous. It's
Oh yeah, up by Coit Tower, everybody down around
Yes.
Kate Ashbury area is still like that. All along the Embarcadero from
yeah.
uh,
But now you see
what is it, from the
video
ferry
and you're
building
like,
all the way up.
yeah.
Well, the city hasn't changed that much. I mean, the city of San Francisco is beautiful. It's a lovely town. They've got
It's
a lot of
awesome.
wonderful people there. A lot of people like to take pot shots at it. I used to walk through the Tenderloin. The Tenderloin was, oh my God, they would tell you that was like walking through Beirut. Oh my God, you can't go through the Tenderloin. Nobody in the Tenderloin was messing. They didn't care. You
But you're also
didn't
huge.
represent enough of an interest.
True.
As long as you were going someplace, they didn't care. That's the joy of most of San Francisco. Are you going from here to there? Cool. Have a good time.
Yeah. No, it's always interesting how places change. Are we going to get rain again tonight? There is a lot of wind.
That's what they're saying. Is there's a good chance. Which, by the way, I have to jump to that Scottish Rite leadership call.
Oh.
So, but
Okay.
I wanted to jump on
Thank
and
you.
give greetings and salutation.
Are you coming back, or are you going to judge?
I'm going
out?
to try and come back. We'll see how long they run the call tonight.
Fantastic. Thank
So,
you, good sir.
I have to go and be with my with my group that's trying to take over the world.
Oh God. Don't you think they would have done that already? And if they were going to take over the world, you wouldn't hear about them until it was too late.
Yeah, well, yeah, I love it. They're like, you guys are a secret society. If we are, we're the worst kept secret in the world. We put big signs on the buildings.
Yeah, there's a big
we
fucking
open
symbols.
hospitals.
Your grandmom has
all
like
that.
8 symbols on the trunk of her car.
That's right. That's
Shriners?
we open the Shriners Hospital so that you can know where to find us.
Yeah. They're so hard to find. He's right over there. He's got his little apron on and everything today. Leave him alone. It's no different than belonging to the Knights of Columbus or the Holy Name Society. Go get the Catholics! Go get them!
Yes.
They're trying
Wait, quick, run them down! All right, gentlemen. I will hopefully return. If I do not, be good. If you can't be good, don't get caught.
We'll do the best we can.
Okay.
Have a
And
good
when
night.
it starts raining, pick up your feet.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's getting dark out there for... Anyway, have a good one. Enjoy your meeting, sir. Bye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We're going to try to get back to the topic.
Topic was that?
To the moon and back. Today is the day it came out, and it was revolutionary at the time. That's why I sent you the wiki link, because the dude that made it and starred in it, it was like... God, how do you even explain? He's like France's version of Walt Disney, I guess, is a comparable, because he came up with, or if like Spielberg was also in front of the camera, not just behind it, and Lucas, and coming up with, really unique ways to maximize film. Because remember, film is brand fucking new in 1902.
Yeah.
They've only really been using it since, I think, 1885, a little before that, and then Edison sets up a shop because it starts off in, and then motion pictures happen, and movies before this film, there wasn't any science fiction. It was little pieces of creepy, macabre tales, or it was little stop motion stuff, or it was people dancing, or they filmed life.
The horse race. The horse race.
They filmed life because
Yeah.
that's all they had available. They didn't have studios back then. So this guy, what is his name? George. Is it George? Yeah.
Some French dude.
Melaise. And it's fun too, because if you've ever seen the movie it just went out of my head. Hugo. He's the father in Hugo, and he's played by Ben Kingsley, who's an amazing actor who we've been watching all of our lives. And he's like a tinker and a performer and an actor, and he comes up with. They rebuilt his studio that got burned down, and it was it looked like a greenhouse more than it looked like a film studio. And most filming starts off and plays and stuff, you start off dark and then you figure out where to put all of your lighting. He started off sun and then would put darkness around where it was needed. So the light was always recessed behind all of the filming that he did. And remember, it's 1902. The movie is goofy as hell if you actually get to sit down and watch it. It's this first science fiction film. It's the longest movie ever made at that time. And he uses a cavalcade of special effects magic that was, wow, we can do that? He was kind of, you know what, a better thing would be he was kind of like a Buster Keaton of his time, except without all the alcohol and, or Buster did have a problem. Who am I to judge? Just relating history. But Buster Keaton was a vaudevillian, and he and his wife were given a camera. And the first thing they did was they took it all apart to figure out how it worked. A motion camera.
Yeah.
Because they had only had experience with, cameras before. So once they took it apart and they figured out how it worked, they immediately started making movies after they got their hands on blank film. And Buster Keaton did not the science fiction aspect of it, where this guy was inventing how to do things. Buster Keaton was using crazy camera angles that nobody had come up with before. It's like him and Harold Lloyd and all these other guys that were doing comedy, and they just let the camera roll, and they'd hire a whole bunch of extras, and then they do like the famous one when he's getting chased and he puts his hand out and the train comes by, and it just takes him. That's all. It's all done in one shot, and it's like 11 minutes long, and it's
wow.
It's for the time, it's state of the art. Like George, our buddy George here was. And in the movie Hugo, they get into this movie, other movies. He made a whole bunch of movies, but only the moon survived. Like so, they're all lost to time, like so many other things. Like the Goon shows, there was like 1,000 episodes, but only 200, 300 survived. And a lot of other.
What is it?
It's a radio program that was live with Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan, and Harry Seacombe, and it was like a cartoon on the radio. But this guy was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and the movie Trip to the Moon, he was a huge, Jules Verne was big. That book was Trip to the Journey to the Moon and Back, From the Earth to the Moon. That came out in like
1865.
1865.
65?
65.
65.
Around the Moon is 1870. So it was a huge influence on this guy. And they go into the plot. The plot is very silly. They fight lobster men on the moon or something, and it just gets crazy.
I hope they beat him with butter.
Trying to read and so it was a lot of, this is one of those if you're ever going to make films or you're a film critic or an aficionado, you've got to spend the time to watch this film and say, I am not French, 1890. So there's a greenhouse, like a building, glass walls to ceiling, sunlight as possible. So, he was doing really crazy stuff at the turn of the century before
anybody else.
Yeah. They were filming like vaudeville acts. So it was like all these disjointed little, here, pay the coin and turn the thing, and it goes with a billion pictures. And then I sent you pictures of his, because it had, or in the Wikipedia thing, it has pictures of his film studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me other pictures, too.
Oh yeah, we had to talk about this. That's saying hello every morning. There's a bunch of half-naked women. Yeah. We're guys.
Did I show you Justin's new product he's had for a couple of years now?
Who?
Justin, the leather guy.
Is this something you can show me on air? Is this something we want on the show?
I don't know if you can read it. It's probably backwards.
Wiener Schnitz.
Wiener sliding.
Wiener Schlein. That's funny.
And he has, let's see, I'm sure I have one handy here. Not that I need them or.
While you're looking for it, I wanted to tell Rob that now that we're on that subject, it's also National Little Black Dress Day.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, that's enough of that. I can close this dumb window.
Well, here it is. Here it is. These are his too.
Is that a condom or hand wipes?
Yep.
Oh, it's both?
No, it's a condom. They're called body bags.
It's a condom. You can... That's funny. Body bags.
Yep. You got little bodies in the body bags.
That's good.
Yep.
Right on. That's too funny. Well, I mean, I like to think about where we're going to go next for sci-fi movies. Because it's movies to books and shows and things like that. You've got a lot of leeway. There's tons of short stories, graphic novels, series. There's, one-shot stuff that came out. There's entire...
I mean, there was a whole magazine series.
Yeah. I don't know. My cats are freaking out. Can you go ahead and entertain the viewers? Like and subscribe. I think I closed my security door. Hey, like I've been, asking you to look. Archer shirt. How is Archer related to Captain America?
I'm probably going to bomb this, but as Bill was saying, there's tons of books and graphic novels and short stories and stuff, but I think the longest running sci-fi graphic novel magazine that sci-fi people could draw from would be Heavy Metal. I mean, granted, it has 2 films, both animated films that are a bunch of shorts. The second one, not as good as the first one, but I think with as many volumes as Heavy Metal had, 20 years, 30 years, however long it went, with so many different stories that people could tap into to either make animated shorts or movies or even transfer into live action. I mean, Netflix is doing it now with Love, Death, and Robots. And they're on, season 4 or 5? And I watched the first season, and I was just blown away by Love, Death, and Robots. I love that show so much.
Hold on.
Hi, welcome back.
No, I'm glad I checked. I started hearing weird noises in my house. The wind blew one of my French doors open in the back. I'm 1 cat short when I did a little cat head count. So Mr. Steele is be right back.
All right. Cats. That's what they're for. But Love, Death, and Robots was really, really good. They were short. They were entertaining. Animation was done and amazing in different ways. So, yeah, I would love to see some heavy metal stories adapted into something like that. I mean, it's perfect for stuff like that. And again, I mean, some of this stuff that's that's out there. I think we should go back to fantasy. Like we were talking last week, how Bill went off on the Forgotten Realm stuff with Drizzt Erden. I'm still probably not pronouncing that right. And he got off on the tangent of Joel Rosenberg and the Guardians of the Flame series. I think those books would be amazing as either a series on a streaming service, or even just, I don't know if you could do it as movies. I think it would have to be a series to really be able to do the impact for the characters and the drama and all of that's on what's going on within the story. I think I read the first two of that series, first one or first two. I don't remember. It's been a very, very long time, junior high or high school, that I read those. But I think that would be perfect. Each season is a volume of the book. Whether it be 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes. I think most streaming shows are no more than 10 to 12 episodes now. Whereas back in the day when we had real TV, we would get 22 episodes of a show.
Sorry about that.
Hello again. Did you please tell me you found them?
Oh, at first I thought he was just going to follow me in. Nope, turned and made a break for it. Had to hunt him down, grab him, and carry him into the house.
They do that. They do that. Children do that.
Fucking kids. I think I've got it. The deadbolt broke because it was super old. And,
I was saying, because you said that now that there's so many like short stories and books and stuff for sci-fi. I was saying heavy metal would be a great resource to tap into for shows and movies.
There were so many stories in that.
I know, right? I mean, I don't even know if they're still going. Is heavy metal still going?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I remember one of the local guys, he actually got a story in heavy metal.
Really? Good for him.
Yeah. I think I have it. It's somewhere around here. I have a copy of it.
Right on.
And that was, in the early 2000s, I think. Or maybe later.
Wiki says there was a relaunch in October 2024.
Oh, really? Wow. What was the original run?
Oh, they're going to relaunch it this year, it says. Beginning November 25th. In 2024, they're going to go for 2025. Originally, it came out, it said, in the 70s?
Yeah, it was
late
mid-70s?
Like 77, it looks like. It's an American.
Probably right after Star Wars.
77. Probably.
70.
Or, well, we were already in that kind of fantasy era, and a lot of shows and movies kind of. Because everyone's, Hal and the Podbait Door. Dude, that's part of a book series, right?
What is?
Space, 2001.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
By, crap. The dude that, they just totally did one of his books in Futurama.
Isaac Asimov?
No, the other author. I have like 3 of his books. One is about ocean
Arthur
people.
C. Clarke?
Oh, Clarke. Yes.
Arthur C. Clarke.
Yes, what's the one where the demon people come to the Earth and they just kind of like park in the atmosphere and they don't interact with us. And then like 50 or 60 years later, it's the episode of Futurama where he and Seth MacFarlane as the talking orangutan get into the argument with evolution. No. Yes. And it's totally that episode with the robots, and then the robots get more evolved, and then eventually they leave. The robots leave the Futurama crew in jail for so long that the robots evolve into pure energy. And they're like, "You're free to go. Everything that was from before is not important anymore. Bye."
What season is that? I need to rewatch that.
It's way late in it. Dr. Banjo, that's the name of the monkey. Yes! I love that show.
God.
It's so good. Oh, it's back on. Yeah, but they don't have the same cast of writers. It's not going to be. It's the same actors. You need the same writers. The actors are the actors,
What?
and they're awesome. And I wouldn't change them for anything. But if you have
They changed one of them. They changed one of them.
Who?
Didn't they change Bender? The actor who played Bender?
I think he's doing other. Is he still doing Adventure Time?
I don't know. I've never watched Adventure Time.
Adventure Time's funny.
Joe DiMaggio, was it Joe DiMaggio or John DiMaggio?
John DiMaggio. Adventure Time's weird, but it's funny. But I only, I watched it to a certain point, and the kids grow up, and then because my friend Andy's still been watching it. Let me just make sure the door is still closed. I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Grown men and their cats. Grown men and their cats. Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, I think Guardians of the Flame should be a TV series.
It's really coming down.
Is it?
Like and subscribe.
I don't hear anything over here yet, so.
Well, I'm north of you, so it's on the way. But it's not very
It's on the
cloudy.
way.
It's really windy. It's not very cloudy, but yeah. So.
Good thing I'm not at work again tonight.
Yeah, I bet there's going to be everybody there, all your favorites.
Yep.
You can walk around pissed all you want, buddy. You're not going out in the rain. You hate the rain. I'm cool. I can handle it. 10 minutes later. No, fuck this. I went back inside.
Let me come back in.
Please, I'm sorry. I tried to tell you. I didn't want to listen to Dad. Oh, no. No. Tell me this isn't true. What they're posting all over Facebook. That a certain famous and amazing actor just died. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I don't want to say it if it's not true.
Oh, shit.
IMDb will tell us the truth.
Right?
We're, all our heroes. It's true.
No, who?
Graham Greene, legendary actor, Native American, super amazing actor who's been in movies like Dances with Wolves, Thunderheart, Maverick. He died at 73 today. So he will be sorely missed because he's amazing.
He Native American actor?
Yeah, I can't remember which tribe, but he's a Native actor. Oh, here, I'm on his bio. Let me tell you. He was born in the Six Nation Reserve, Ontario, Canada. Are they Sioux up there? I don't remember. Oh, he was Shylock in The Merchant of Venice. And Lenny in Vice and Men in college. He's super talented. That sucks.
Did it say what he passed away from?
No. he's got writing credits too. Right on. That sucks. Kicking Bird is dead.
Hmm.
Well, nothing lasts forever.
Nope.
Lately, he's been still acting. He's in Paige Darcy, The Reluctant Detective, Protectors of the Land, Trail of Vengeance. This is all just this year. The Protector, Sweet Summer Powwow. I don't know what any of these things are, but he's in them. He's in Tulsa King with Sly.
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. Was he in Yellowstone?
He really should be. If he's not, that's a crime.
Right. I binged that in like a month. I watched all 5 seasons of that in like a month.
I'm going to get to it. I've just discovered Blacklist, and that sucked me in because, James Spader is a bad guy who's kind of an anti-hero? This is awesome. And that was the show I was trying to remember last weekend, or last Monday when we were all talking about anti-heroes, and how it's like you're totally glorifying him. I mean, he's basically, like a criminal. Huh?
That's the dude that goes. He's the older man who goes around, and he was like some sort of criminal, and the government's trying to get him.
Yep.
And he's like outsmarting them in every freaking turn.
Yeah, he's like the Equalizer, the original show, more than the movies that they made.
Okay, I need to put that on my list. I need to watch that. I heard it's really good.
Well, I mean, James Spader recently. He's Ultron, a canon Marvel villain that Ant-Man makes. And really, the Ultron ideal is pretty simple. We're going to shrink these prisoners. You guys don't let him out. You can't bargain with him, or, he has to be in the programming of receiving your information to interact with you in a sense. And then before that, he's we're on. He's also Graham is also voices in Red Dead Redemption. He's Rains Fall. He's in American Gods as Whiskey Jack. Tar.
Oh, nice! I love American Gods.
Christine gave me that book at the beginning of our relationship, and I'm like, I've got to read this, and I never got around to it. Now it's a show. Well, now we're divorced. I don't have to talk to her about it. But I did ask her about it.
It's a great book.
What was your take on that?
Great book.
Like, it was okay. I mean, they added a lot and changed it. I'm like, that's from what I remember you telling me everything about it. It's almost like I've read it.
You know what I watched the other day that I bought on? It was on like $5 movies on Fandango. Taps. Do you remember Taps?
Taps. That's an early Tom Cruise, and a bunch of other actors are in that movie.
Sean Penn.
That's right. Graham Greene was on the Red Green show as the chief that was always on fire. Oh, sorry, Taps. Go ahead. I'm still looking at Graham Greene's bio.
Timothy Hutton.
Yeah.
And George C. Scott.
Yes. All great actors.
I mean, for somebody brought it up. It might have been you that brought it up to me.
Taps?
Again, after years and years and years.
Probably not.
And I'm like, it was on the Fandango. It was like a $5 movie one day. And I'm like, I'm going to buy that because I was thinking about it.
I saw Taps on cable once a long time ago. And I was really too young to... What the hell? 1981. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. 'Cause I remember it on VHS. I think we rented it on VHS.
I believe you. I still have
only because I'm a couple years older than you.
Sean Penn, Timothy Hutton, George C. Scott, Ronnie Cox. He always plays a great bad guy. He even plays a good Billy Van Zandt. Hey, all right. The tie in the storyline is probably Giancarlo Esposito. He's also in the movie because it took him it took him so long to get his career off the ground, like so many actors who like almost got there. Like the same thing of like, huh?
He was in Taps?
He was J.C. Pierce. Oh, straight here. In my...
Oh my God, I'm going to have to go through back and watch that now again.
Well, since you bought it, you can.
Right? I did not realize that that was him. How old was he in 1980?
Oh, okay, we'll look him up and find out. But that just goes to show
Holy
what a diverse actor he is, that he can be in something, and you're like, oh my God.
He was in Law and Order. He did a couple episodes of Law and Order.
So he was born April 26th, April 26th, 19, in April 26th, 1958. Almost slipped into a Sublime song there. Sorry.
Wow.
1992. There was a riot on the streets.
So he would have been about 23 then.
Even in Trading Places, he's real young. That's 1984, 3 years after this movie. And he has a bit part. He's one of those two guys in the cell when Eddie Murphy gets arrested in the very, very beginning going, yeah, when they brought you in here, he was crying like a pussy. And then Gia got, yeah. But he plays the part of a thug, and he's got this
Oh my God.
And then they go to beat him up. You have any idea who you're dealing with? Billy Valentine in cell 4 on one of That's the code of blood technique. You do that technique and a code of blood just drop out of their body. Trading Places is a great movie.
I got to meet him last year at Fan Fusion.
Which people of all the people we just
Giancarlo
Really?
Esposito.
Nice.
Yeah, I got his autograph on the Moff Gideon Funko Pop of mine.
Ooh. That was he did actually the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian are really good. I haven't seen any after that.
Okay, they brought Jack Black and Lizzo into one of the episodes
So
in season 3.
here's the problem with the 30-year disconnect happens in movies as well. You're seeing it now. We'll remake this film. We'll remake this film. I can remember going to my dad in the 80s and going, Dad, they're going to make this movie. Starring this guy? No, I have no idea who that is. Well, they made that movie in 1962 with this guy. Because it was the same thing, like Gone in 60 Seconds, like so many other...
The Thing! The Thing!
The Thing is not the first thing. It's...
Right.
It's totally different, but...
Right.
Not the same.
The Blob.
The Blob is a perfect example because the Blob in the 50s is a comedy to today's standard, and the 80s you're still like, is that Kevin Dillon? Oh my God, that's Kevin Dillon. Another.
Oh God, what's the other one? There's another one. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They haven't done Day of the Triffids or any of the other like weird sci-fi before. It's cool that Philip K. Dick isn't really taught in school. You don't learn your teacher mentions him and you're like, who? And the next thing you know, you're at the library. This guy's last name is Dick. Oh wait, this is really weird. So that's kind of how you get introduced to him until the 70s, and they still make, what is it, Man in the High Tower, and they don't really do, it isn't until Blade Runner that there's a real, I'm going to say it, it is until Blade Runner where there's a real dick surge when we start using Philip K. Dick in a lot of sci-fi, because you've got Blade Runner, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And then what's the next major Philip K. Dick movie that comes out? We'll Remember It For You Wholesale, also known as Total Recall. But Total Recall is a 2-hour movie with Arnold. We're here on Mars. It's going to be great. Paul Verhoeven is going to be great. And it's a...
Reboot aliens.
And we kill them. Betty! Always the best part of every
Get
fucking
to the
Horror movie.
chopper.
Huh?
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper! I love all his lines are amazing. They're like, dude, it's simple, explosions and fun. That's what we love. Just let us blow stuff
Right.
up. The reason that everybody's on antidepressants is because now everybody is a Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live about fucking everything. Yeah, life is oppressive. That's why we celebrate the fun. That's why comedy changes constantly, because
Well, even now, I mean, comedy can't change because everybody gets butthurt about everything.
it's temporary.
Oh, you made fun of me because I'm depressed.
Yeah, that's temporary.
F you.
It's temporary in the aspect of you have like Don Rickles and Shecky Green, and you have these amazing insult comics that are not just ripping people. Well, roasts used to be televised in a special event. Now you hear about them after the fact.
Right?
And roasting used to be an art. You can't just walk up and start saying horrible shit about somebody. You have to slip insults and reality into a flowery, we're here to celebrate so-and-so, son of a bitch. Anyway, we're going to talk about, I remember the first time, and then they would tell a great story, or they would just talk about stuff he did. But I mean, if you go back and you look at all the roasts that are going on in the 60s with,
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis
and
Jr. and
Frank
Dean
Sinatra,
Martin, Betty
all those
White,
guys.
and dude,
Yes.
there's a never and Rickles would just get on there and just destroy everybody because they called him the merchant of venom for a reason, or my favorite, Mr. Warmth, and to just watch him tear into people, but like, Ed's like, I can't watch your the podcast you guys do because it's too long to sit there. Ed, I want you to be on it, because he was besides being a fantastic artist, he's an avid video game player, and he worked at Harrah's back in the days in Reno when Mr. Harrah was still alive, and he still had his car collection there, and it was a much bigger deal. So he got to meet Don Rickles on many occasions, and he said the same thing about Don Rickles that you hear all the famous people say about him that worked with him and dealt with him and stuff like that, where everybody, it's like Mel Brooks or South Park. Nobody gets a pass. Everyone is going to be horribly insulted in one way or another. There are no safe spaces. Line up to just take it. But he also makes fun of himself while he's calling out the dozens of yeah, and that's where the art comes in, and it's the same thing that a lot of I can't remember his name. He's on a whole bunch of bits, and he's a newer comedian. He's kind of got his head almost shaved, and he has like the 5 o'clock shadow look, and he'll come out and say the most crazy shit, and the whole place will laugh. He'll start telling black jokes and Mexican jokes. What I've noticed, and he'll just like go off, and it's like he's back at the original part of comedy where I'm not making fun of your stereotype. It's just this is probably the reason for the stereotype. If you guys know you do this, like, well, yeah, I guess we do. It's that same. Oh, go ahead.
You know who else would have been really? I'm sure he was really good at it. Red Fox.
Oh yeah.
I got my stepdad for his birthday. Back when Temu was actually shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
I got him a Red Fox shirt from Sanford and Son that says "You big dummy"
You big dummy.
on it. You big dummy.
Esther.
He wears that shirt all the time.
Esther, you is ugly. Red Sanford, you can't hurt me. The interaction between the two of them is golden.
Oh, I know, right? I remember watching that show. Yeah. I remember watching. My stepdad would laugh his ass off.
Sanford.
I mean, that's when comedy was.
Yeah.
You didn't care if you offended anybody.
much like the show The Office, Sanford and Son comes from across the pond, and it's another show called Steptoe and Son. So, kind of put in the same scenario, but instead of a black father and son, a white father and son, and except Steptoe, Sanford is basically Red Fox, just being Red Fox, where Steptoe, he's more like, we talked about it on episode 14. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. I hope you watch it one day. But Commedia dell'arte, and I had to watch 25 fucking years of SpongeBob, and that's when it occurred to me that SpongeBob is basically modern Commedia dell'arte. And they took the character Pantaloon and they split him into Mr. Krabs and Squidward, because Pantaloon is what he is, he's way too severe for small children. Because he's like, he'd be chaotic, he'd be a chaotic neutral innkeeper if he was in D&D. Just old and just cares about money, and everybody is horrible and they suck and you're stupid, and like Squidward. No one understands the fine art of clarinet and all the other, My hair's driving me crazy. So it's the same kind of character. He's like that. he's a curmudgeon, a miser, a penny, is all of the negative characters that involve wealth. And that's why I say he's kind of like that.
Wow. And that's an old English or
Steptoe. Yeah.
BBC show? Or?
There was a show back on in the late 60s or the 70s, I think. Steptoe and Son. They have like a salvage, and then they own what's called a rag. I think they own a rag and bone shop, which is basically like a pawn shop, only kind of a lower income pawn shop. But yeah, it was on for seasons. There's a lot of shows that like I can't remember what it was called, but Three's Company, same thing. Except they focused more on like the girl's parents coming over and Jack character having to pretend to be gay a lot more for British audiences, because that's it's funny. And one day I was over at Paul's house, and we were talking about British television, the BBC, and we were talking about it, and he talked about a show called Dad's Army, and I'm like, what the hell is that? That sounds not good at all. And he's like, no. America had Cheers, and at the same time, England was glued to Dad's Army. I'm like, what? Okay, all of the young men that had passed the physical are gone. They're fighting Hitler. Who's protecting England? So they create Dad's Army, where all of these reservists and fucking shopkeepers and these people that didn't make the cut or are too old or whatever, and they're a reserve force, and the shit that they get into is really silly. It's goofy English sitcom humor, but there's actually like famous actors that were in it, and it ran for like a couple seasons. And the best part is, I don't know if it's still on streaming for Netflix. You probably have to order it and have it shipped to your house, like the way Netflix started out. But on one episode...
They don't do that anymore.
What? I hate Netflix.
They stopped that. They stopped that a couple years ago.
I hate the future.
Don't have a heart attack on me, all right?
You'd be so lucky. But they lost a lot of the episodes. Luckily, some people had them. And they have one episode where they only have the audio track. So they had artists come and they did an animated version of the show. And I shit you not, it's in the art style of Metalocalypse. They all move the same way. They all kind of... And it's neat because the show has its own, like, there's one guy who's like a child. He's like 18. He's like he's mommy's favorite little boy. He's like still sucking his thumb and stuff. And then the main guy, one of the main guy, Captain Manring, he's like if Danny DeVito wanted to be a captain and just one day made himself a captain and everybody just went along with it because they don't want the job. And he just like took over. Meanwhile, he's a bank manager. And here's how brilliant English television is. And I don't know if they are the originators of this. Maybe somewhere else in Europe came up with the concept first. But I can't think of an earlier sitcom version of the invisible character. But my father talked about on the television show that Slim Pickens was in that he watched as a kid, where one of the characters that was one of Froggy's companions was just, it lived inside of a clock and it was a mouse and you never saw it, and the other characters would talk to it, and when the mouse wanted to communicate with people, he'd start running around in the clock and the clock would make all kinds of crazy noises that they would do off stage. But in the show Dad's Army, Manring's wife is like Maris in Frasier or Vera in Cheers. They talk about her in every episode and you never see her. She's always just off camera, just inside a doorway. She'll throw something at Manring, and he's like, he's more like Neville than he is Norm, or Norm's more like, yes, dear, yes, okay, Vera, sorry, yeah, I'm on my way home. Where, you know, oh, Maris, and Maris has a very rigid back, and Maris, so it's more, he's more like that, where, oh, I think her name is, I think Manring's wife's, I think her name is Gwendolyn, or Guinevere, or she has a long name, but they've, let me save you all of the episodes. One of the funniest fucking things ever said in the show that I rewinded probably 50 times and just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. There's one guy named Godfrey, and he is way older than all of the other retirees. He's the oldest one. And he's their medic. And he doesn't carry a gun. And they never, ever question this all through the series. And then all of a sudden, they meet somebody in town, and he's a cunchy. What? You know, he's a damn cunchy. Probably one of the... And this guy was a conscientious objector, so they were just, how unpatriotic. How dare you call yourself British? You should be doing everything you can to get rid of the goddamn Hitler. So then, all of a sudden, they're like, well, Godfrey's a cunchy. Oh, that's right. And they're like, you've been with us all this time. And they like flip out. But like, why is he any different? Because he has a couple of sisters, and they all, not that they're going to hook up with the sisters, but his sisters are like really pleasant women to be around. So they always want to have tea with them and stuff. And because the rest of the women in the show are all of them are a real pain in the ass, the way they portray women, or they're officers. So, and they're a problem because this is a heavy misogynistic show. So, they're going to be evaluated. On the other hand, you have another show that's absolutely not related to this one at all, but it's around the same time period, but in India, called It's Not Half Hot, Mum, where you follow the adventures of a performing troupe in the British Army. Those boys and girls performing last night were well done, Sergeant. They're only men, sir. We don't have any girls. They're all men. No, the one that was a wig, sir, and a stuffed brassiere. They're not women, sir. And half of them are just these flamingly flamboyant characters. Where if that show was made today, it would
be canceled after the first episode.
Half the community would celebrate it because they're doing show tunes and they have this very success. They're entertaining the troops. These guys are stuck in the middle of India. So you have this culture thing going on. And then what makes it great is the main character, the sergeant. Old shut up, because when you say his name or he's about to talk to you, the first thing he screams is shut up. Shut up! All right, I want you to go down. And he does it to commanding officer. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir. It's all right, because they watch him do it to everybody. So he's not doing it to them out of disrespect. It's out of reflex, because they'll run all over me, sir. They're actors and musicians and things like that. So they really don't belong in the Army, and they have no regard for rank or any kind of, yeah, it's silly. But Dad's Army is different. The Gottfried. So the real Army comes to evaluate, because they can't understand how did Manring get the rank of captain? So all this other stuff's going on, and they evaluate the medic, and they say, what's the guy that's evaluating him obviously has no medical training whatsoever. And he says, tell me the reason that you would disregard using a neck tourniquet. And Godfrey smiles, this really old English guy, and goes, because it kills the patient. And the whole fucking everybody, I don't know how these guys kept a straight face, because this is kind of live TV, some of the shows. So they have to like bite their tongues not to laugh at all the goofy, weird shit that's going on the studio. So that's like one of the best lines, because it's delivered so deadpan. You followed this really excited energy of this, I'm going to evaluate all of you. Something, you're not doing anything right. And then he yelling at everybody, and he gets up to Gottfried, who he's like 90. He doesn't care. He's like, oh, hi. Why aren't you carrying a gun? He's our medic. Oh, well, he's supposed to carry a gun. No, you're not going to get him to carry a gun. But it was a funny show. And the best part is Walker. There's a character named Walker, and the actor does a brilliant portrayal. And he literally he's an East Ender. The way he communicates and the way he talks, he sounds like most of Paul's family. His cadence, the way he uses words, how he rhymes things, how he uses slang. It's like Rose did that. All like Georgie and all of them sound a certain way. And that's not, I'm not being like, oh, they sound a certain way. It's like, that's where they grew up. That's how they talk. So that means that it's that portrayal of it in the 80s, how they were talking in the 40s. It still sounds like that in the modern day, because only faces and the names change. The place is still the same. So it was comforting, it was like, hanging out with Paul's family, because they have that character there. And then the actor died, so the character they don't really talk about what happens to him. He's just not on the show anymore. But in life, I read up, because I was like, what, did he get a better career? Oh, no, he had a massive heart attack. Oh.
Yeah.
Because his character was like all of the best small shopkeepers that you meet in a good campaign, that the shop is nothing. This guy's true power is his connections and what he's capable of getting done for you. Because they'll run into this, oh, we need to do this. Oh, we can't do that because of this and this and this. Right, what? Oh, no, guy. And he basically is the facilitator of, he's the middleman. So the next thing you know, here's this big diesel truck, and he's trading fuel rations to get whatever they need to get done. Oh, this is unauthorized. Well, you want this to, and that's going to a big argument. It's like, well, you want it done, don't you? What's more important? You having Wilson, because Wilson's a famous actor, but he's like the main actor support, because Manring just orders him around. Wilson is like every other line in this. And Wilson is involved with the kid and all this. So, and Wilson's great because he's that old guy that doesn't want to be bothered at work, but he's got a lot of cool stories, but he's constantly being harassed by the upper management. So he has kind of that, well, yes, this is why that happened. And, well, I took care of it. Yeah. It's done now. I had Walker say, oh, Walker! Well, you wanted it done. Because if Walker is involved, it's going to be slightly nefarious. So it was, I would watch the show again. It was good. It also suffers from everything that's 80s BBC, redoing a show that's based in the early 1940s and the late 1930s. It's misogynistic. There's female violence. There's one of the other characters I haven't even mentioned is Jack Johnson, and he's the local butcher shop owner in their area. But he is like a World War I vet. So all of his stories involve fighting in like Africa, and he has all these derogatory names for the natives. He calls the captain or the major or whatever. He called them fuzzy wuzzies. It's like you could not get away with that on my. They're mad about the gollywog now. I mean, you couldn't get away with that, and all of those stories would have to be altered.
Right.
And then one time they do a flashback, and because he's telling the story, he's the major guy or general, or I can't even remember what the guy's name was. And they're like out in a desert somewhere pretending to be America. But that's another, they use that same trick again and again and again, where you have a character that is a main character that you never see, that you hear what that character wants and does and how that character interacts, second person, secondary. Maris did this and this and this. Oh, Vera wants me home early tonight. There's one horrible...
Did they ever show Vera? Did they ever show her in the show? Eventually?
There is an episode that is fucking awesome. I remember watching it as a young teenager, and Carla finally gets a house for her and all of her goddamn kids. And she finally gets a house, and the house is dirt cheap, and they can't figure out why at first. So they find out later that it's because it's by the runway, it's by a landing strip or by a takeoff. So there's planes. So she decides to have a Thanksgiving dinner, and they all decide that they really need to take this seriously, and they do take it seriously. And Vera is going to be there, so they need to take it even more seriously, because Norm, well, I'll never come back to the bar. You have a giant tab. I'll only come back to pay my tabs. So they all bring something. There's a story behind it's actually going well. And then Kirstie Alley character, I think, starts the fight. One of them makes a comment, and it stirs an entire hullabaloo. We'll use that. And they start a food fight where they start throwing food at one another. And I think because...
They throw a pie.
Yeah. And Vera gets hit
the pie.
And Vera gets hit in the face with the pie. So the actress is standing, and Norm is standing there with his mouth open. Or is it Diane? I think it's Kirstie Alley's character. Either Diane or Kirstie Alley. I think it's Kirstie Alley character throws the pie. Because the fight is over, but she doesn't know it. She goes in to get to the pie, I think to throw at Dan. And she ends up hitting Vera. And then you hear Vera's voice say, Dan, come on, we're leaving. Your friends are too crazy. Yes, dear. And that's like the credits roll, sit, ubu, sit, or whatever. And then that's the only time. But Maris is only seen in shadow.
And Maris is who?
His wife. His younger Frasier's younger brother's wife. What's his name?
Okay.
What's his name?
Niles.
Niles. I keep saying Neville. Whoops.
Niles.
I knew it was an N. Niles has a wife named Maris. And Maris is the pants in that relationship, much like with the Vera situation. So
Right.
Oh, I can't do that because Maris this and this. And they end up getting divorced in the show. Because there's a while where
they end up in Seattle with he ends up in Seattle with Frasier and his dad.
Yes. But Maris comes in and out. But that's an excellent plot device. I mean, it's endless. You can have so many Maris issues. And then there's one time where Niles convinces Frasier to go and plead his case to Maris. and he's like standing outside of her apartment or townhouse or condo or so, I can't remember exactly, and he's trying to get her attention, and eventually she throws the shutters open, and all this light comes from behind this character, and he literally is trying to hold a horrified look back on his face. As we all know, Kelsey Grammer's an amazing actor, so he's just like, Maris, you're looking wonderful. And she doesn't say a word. He talks and talks and talks and talks, and then she talks through body language via silhouette, which is a classic stage. It's almost puppeteering in a sense.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of other characters that don't exist that.
Well, I mean, kids really can't exist in the show because the character's not where the main story's happening. Is Frank Burns' wife in MASH.
True. You never.
They're always talking about her, but you never see her.
No, he's more focused in Hot Lips. Burns was Burns is a great character, and Larry Linville was an amazing actor. But he kind of ceilings after a while. There's no depth to him. He's just like another Pantaloon and Mr. Krabs. Not Mr. Krabs isn't really. Mr. Krabs is all greed. He's not. What is it? Freudenscheid, where you celebrate other people's misery. You're happy when they're doing bad. That's Freudenscheid, I think the term. It's a German word. And a character played by Eddie Izzard in Igor. He's the main bad guy. He's such an asshole. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's great. John Cusack.
What is it?
Igor. It's John Cusack, Steve Buscemi, and Sean Hayes. Hayes? The guy from Will and Grace. The friend.
Okay.
The guy who wrote the show.
Okay.
He wrote Will and Grace. Everybody's like, oh, he's just the weird gay friend. No, he's like the writer and the executive producer. But he's... Steve Buscemi is this robot. Or, no. One is a brain in a robot body. That's Sean Hayes. And the other one is a rabbit that he made immortal. That's constantly trying to kill himself through the entire... And... Yeah, it's absolutely silly. Molly Shannon does an amazing job in it as Eva. She's like a Frankenstein, and they try to make her evil, but Sean Hayes shows up at the last second, and he ends up... They want to show her, like, World War II and all these movies from, like, all the worst wars, but at the last second, Sean Hayes clicks the channel, and he turns it to James Lipton's in the actor's studio. So now she thinks that she's, okay, if I'm going to be famous, I've got to keep my focus. And their world is fucking awesome. Their world of malaria. Don't raise crops. Don't make anything manufacturing industry-wise. Here's what we're going to do. Our mad scientists will create doomsday machines, and then we will hold the rest of the world hostage and force them to give us tens of millions of dollars to keep us from using those machines. That's the whole plot of the movie. John Cleese is a bad guy. Jay Leno is a bad guy. Eddie Izzard is a bad guy. Everyone talks about Legally Blonde and how great she is in that. Jennifer Coleman, Sickler's mom. But she is in this movie, and she is amazing because she plays a bad guy who has these pills where she can look like I think she's like 6 different women in the show, and she does a different voice for each one of the women. Like, for
what is the name of the movie?
Igor. I have it over here. Like she has a German accent, and she's all dressed up, and she's Greta, so-and-so's girlfriend. So basically, she actually works for Eddie Izzard, but she pretends to be all these famous evil scientists girlfriends, and then she steals their ideas, brings them back to Eddie Izzard, and then he passes them off as his own.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's basically Edison.
I'm assuming IGOR?
Yep.
Is it an animated movie?
There you go. Look.
Okay. All right, I've seen that. I'm trying to find out where I can.
Brilliant.
I'm trying to see if I have it on streaming anywhere.
It is great. Well, I've got a DVD player. You're set. I can bring it to your house. But it is really cute. John Cleese. Yeah, don't get used to him. He gets killed in the very beginning. He's not good at being a scientist. Some of them are.
Yeah,
Most of
he's
them
on
are.
HBO Max. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that right to my list.
At the end of the movie, all of the scientists have to bring their inventions to the city center. Awesome. It's fun. It's a fun movie. It's a fun love story, fun movie.
Okay. Speaking of Steve Buscemi, he's in the second season of Wednesday.
Is he really? He's perfect for the cast
Yes.
of Wednesday.
Yes, he plays the headmaster of the school.
Oh, perfect. I got to start watching it because everyone is bagging on Luis Guzman playing Gomez. Dude, he looks like Gomez. Are you fucking kidding me? You didn't watch Scooby-Doo when you were a kid? Tim Curry and Raul Julia are beautiful compared to what Gomez really likes. Watch Scooby-Doo.
Right.
That's what Gomez looks like. He has a pumpkin head. I swear, I shit you not.
Right.
He's a weird, creepy little dude. And because hands down, I mean, I've got so many Harley Quinn and Joker toys. I've got the wedding poster, but that's not a good relationship. He's a homicidal maniac.
No.
She's a narcissist. Morticia and Gomez are obsessed with each other in a masochism tango kind of way. They deeply obsess about one another. They absolutely love one another. All the hurt is out of love in the bedroom. It's not. Joker beats the crap out of Harley all the time, and it turns my stomach because dude, what are you doing? You got a clown girl. You've got a girl who's willingly putting on grease paint for you. You should
and
worshiping
Catherine
her
Zeta-Jones
now.
is Morticia.
You know how many chicks hate clowns? And whereas Morticia and they obsess over one another, and then there's that one meme that I absolutely love on Facebook, and it's like the creepy little gremlin who's obsessed with a drop dead tall knockout, and they're obsessed with each other, and they just laugh all the time. That's the perfect relationship.
Right?
Not
And Catherine
beating the
Zeta-Jones
crap.
is Morticia. She's fucking amazing.
I haven't really had a problem.
Christina,
Well, Angela Houston, perfect choice. Daryl Hannah, perfect choice. Catherine Zeta-Jones, perfect choice.
choice.
There's
And Christina Ricci is in the first season.
oh god, I hope so. I absolutely.
She is.
It's weird
She
watching
is.
her and Kristen Dunst and Michelle Trachtenberg and all the others grow up, and it's like, or Hilary Duff. It's like, damn, you've had 4 kids and you still look like a supermodel. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The
Get her
second
in the
half
front of
of
the camera
season
now.
2,
Sorry.
the second half of season 2 drops on Thursday. No, Wednesday. The third.
Right on. I got to start watching.
So yeah, there's I watched the first 4 episodes Saturday, and they were really good.
It's so weird because Addams Family and I wrote a whole argument in one of the graphic novels, Fat Angel, I was working on, where the denizens of the local bar where the main characters hang out are having a massive argument on who is more beautiful, Morticia or Lily Munster. It's like, no, we can handle both people. It's fine. Both are gorgeous. They're 2 different moms, all right?
Yeah.
God. Lily is more like June Cleaver, which is hilarious because she's a fucking vampire. And Morticia is more deep, sexy. Yeah, it's a little different. She's more of a trophy wife. Not that Lily isn't a trophy wife, but Lily's persona
is, like you said, more June Cleaver. She's more
You're
very
very
homemaker.
attracted to her, but for different reasons. She's Hestia,
Right.
where Morticia is more Aphrodite. So it's a little,
Right.
well, without the evil. Well, the evil's in the bedroom, and that's where you need it. But that where Hestia is the domestic goddess, she's super hot, and she's this tiny little brunette portrayed in the Dungeons and Dragons anime. Is it wrong to meet girls in a dungeon? Paul sent me like the first series, and he's like, you're real. Then he was sending me pictures of her. Like, okay, yeah, she's awesome. She's just a cartoon. So there's a different vibe going on, and they both are, drop dead. But what's weird is you made Wednesday and this dark series, and everybody loved it. But Rob Zombie took the Munsters for what it is, and everybody hated the movie, and the movie was fun. It was great.
The movie was awesome.
Yeah.
I love the Rob Zombie Monster movie.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Sherry was good." Dude, it was great. Everybody wanted Wednesday out of the Munsters. Dude, it's not that. The Munsters is campy. The Munsters is silly. Gomez never, ever gets in trouble. He never panics. He never freaks out. And he never needs Morticia's approval for things. He's constantly in a, how am I going to get my wife in bed without the butler, mother-in-law, and kids finding out and, going to surprise you in the laundry room. Oh, my God, this is so sexy. They have the ideal dream marriage. Herman Munster, who is fucking Frankenstein, who I've tried to go back and watch the show just to judge how strong he would be if you put him in a DC or a Marvel or Top Cow world, because he's right up there with Power Man, and he might even be stronger. Because there's one, Herman gets fired, and he at the morgue, and he needs to find another job, so he goes to a construction site. Have you ever seen that episode?
Maybe.
And
it's been decades since I watched the Munsters.
The foreman is focused on his clipboard. He's only really half paying attention to Herman, but he's looking at him sideways because, dude, he's like 6'8". That's not normal in the mid-60s anywhere. That's, oh, geez.
Anywhere.
Moose, I'm glad you're here. If a car rolls over, you'll be able to. So the foreman asks him, how many of these, I think they were concrete or iron pylons, can you pick up on this pallet? They each weigh 200 pounds. And like a teenager, Herman's like, well, all of them, I think. And he's like, what? And then Herman proceeds to pick up the entire pallet. Dude, there's like 40 or 50 of them on there, and they're all 200 pounds apiece. I'm no math whiz, but that's several tons.
Yeah.
And then he gets hit by cars. He does all this. So in the home, how is Herman regarded? Herman panics a lot. Lily, oh. He's a very nervous father wanting to do the best. So he doesn't freak out because he's a coward but when things go sideways, Herman doesn't handle it so well. He needs to rely on Grandpa or Lily or even Marilyn in a lot of cases, because he doesn't really have a lot of outside friends. Same thing with Gomez. They don't have like drinking buddies. They don't have like dudes that play Yahtzee with. There's no like bridge night. That just doesn't happen in their world because their whole reality is focused on their family and their wife, which is why the two weirdest, darkest guys from the 60s television show are actually two of the greatest fathers. Because they, even though they're doing creepy stuff and one is all monsters, they have all the values that you would uphold from your, post-World War II Eisenhower, Mamie Eisenhower. She was the shit back in the day. She was the first lady. And even women before her were great, not to take away the shadow. But Herman has a very, he's not sure of himself. And then when he's out in the world and he breaks something, that's his first initial reaction is panic. He's afraid that the mob is going to show up with torches and pitchforks, and because he's not really hurting anything, it's just accidents happen. Sorry. Meanwhile, Grandpa is the other end of the spectrum, and it's awesome that those two get into so much trouble together because Herman really is the voice of wisdom, and they make several references to the fact of, didn't he build Herman? My boy, you're not going to find out any of this is going on. Because Grandpa's always up to something. He's always got a scheme. There's always a potion.
Right.
There's always something coming up that he's going to fly to and take advantage of. He's your, that old relative you would.
Uncle. The greasy uncle.
Yeah. I have a car I want you to buy. No.
Right? No. No.
The last car you sold me is at the bottom of the lake. Because it's Lily.
Go ahead.
Herman will avoid Grandpa for a while. Herman, I need your help on it. No, Grandpa, I promised Lily that I'm going to. And eventually he'll wear him down. Grandpa will manipulate Herman into helping. And he will make it a good time. And Herman loves having fun.
Right.
So he goes along with it. That's why again, all for the record, Rob Zombie did a great job with the Munsters. If you hate it, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you wanted more out of it. Dude, you got to see Cassandra Peterson dressed as a witch and then in all of her red-hair glory. Elvira. Wasn't Elvira in the movie, but she's always Elvira. It's okay.
She's always Elvira.
I love that interview where they're like, who was the funniest person on the movie set and who told the greatest story? Well, me, of course. I really love that lady. I love her so much.
I know, right?
She's hysterical. That's why everybody in Hollywood fucking loves her, too. Like, all the people that meet her, they have nothing but great stories to tell about her.
Yeah. Christopher Lloyd is in Wednesday season 2.
Awesome. He belongs there.
Yes. Right?
I think
he's a giant head. He's a head in a jar.
I think I saw a picture of it. He'd be perfect as like a science teacher, or who they really should get to be at her school is the cast of Sky High. To get Dave Foley and I'm gonna get it right in the camera, because this is another one of these movies of if you haven't seen it, see it. Yeah, it was made for kids. I'm pretty sure it's a Disney, but it's Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston and oh God, what's her name? What's her name's one of the main bad guys. It's great, but like Dave Foley is a retired sidekick. And back in the day, he was All-American Boy, and he used to sidekick for Kurt Russell, the Commander. And the Commander's kind of like Mr. Incredible, invulnerability and super, super strength. But Jetstream is Kelly Preston. She flies. That's really her only power. She's really fast. That's all she does.
She's really fast.
Yeah. Oh, God. But Dave Foley is... When you first get to the school,
hey, he's back.
Oh, right on. They give you the test and they decide what your power level is. So you're either a hero or you're hero support. So if you're put in the hero support, you will run into Dave Foley, and he teaches you how to be a Robin, basically, because that's what he does. And then as you go on and you get into technology, you take a class and Kevin McDonald is teaching it. Ray guns! And he's got a big prosthetic head, and he's like a mad scientist gone science teacher for superhero kids. And who else is in?
Oh, that's awesome.
What's that? I was talking about this movie, Sky High. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Rob.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's brilliant. And what's his name is the gym teacher, and he has sonic boom powers. Briscoe County Jr., Evil Dead, Ash. Fuck.
Bruce Campbell.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Bruce Campbell.
What's wrong with my mind today? I'm drinking less and
Bruce
I can't.
Campbell.
Thank you. Yes. He's the gym teacher. He's the gym teacher, and he is the one that decides whether or not you're a hero or a sidekick. And he's an asshole in this movie.
Oh my god.
It's worth watching. It's really worth watching. It's really good. But the
Okay,
little,
hold on. I gotta get my tablet again then.
oh, oops.
It was a premium campy movie. It really was. I mean, it was not played for anything
Yeah.
more than fun, and that was the nice thing about it. Nobody was trying to be this. You know, it wasn't trying to be this great literary masterpiece or this incredible cinematic, system. It was, we're having fun. We're going to have a good time.
Because Will, he's not really into the gung ho super there, and his strength and invincibility hasn't come to him yet. One of the best characters in the whole movie is the goddamn bus driver. Yep, that's it.
Added it to my list.
The guy who plays Tom Wilson, bus driver, is actually the actor who's Farva on Super Troopers. Only he's not anything like Farva. He's a Ron Wilson, bus driver, and he's like a squib in the Harry Potter world. He has two super powered parents, and he has no powers at all. He drives the bus, and all of the kids that are going to be villains, they just steal his hat and fuck with him and pick on him, and it's kind of sad. But he's like this. Don't worry, Will. You could do it. You know, he's like this total. He's like a Adam Sandler positive character that's like comes in and out of the movie and encourages the main characters, but he doesn't really have any. They talk about him, but like Cloris Leachman is the school nurse. Oh, what's wrong? I don't know. Do you have any broken bones? I don't know. Well, let me look. And she picks up her glasses and her eyes start glowing. Nope, everything's right where it should be. And who's the principal is Linda Wonder Woman.
Linda
Carter.
Linda Carter. I almost said Hamilton too. Whoops. Well, why wouldn't you want to say Linda Hamilton? But yeah, Linda Carter. She's Mrs. Powers. She's the principal. God damn it! I can't do anything. I'm not Wonder Woman, you know. That's one of her lines. Because when the kids get in the fight, the school gets destroyed, and then she comes out of nowhere, and she's like the vice principal in the role-playing game Teenagers from Outer Space, where like no matter he's just gonna destroy everything. Stops when he comes around. He's like throwing Tiamat into a fight. All right, I'm tired of you guys here. Here's the oldest and most angry, evil female dragon anybody's ever met. There you go. What's another good one? We kind of got off the sci-fi movie because that kind of sucks because we started talking about different... we talked about English television for a while. Dad's Army and It's Not Half Hot, Mom, and a couple other shows. I want to get a hold of I'm All Right, Jack, which it's actually a drama. It's not a comedy, but Peter Sellers is so over the top, it becomes a comedy. And because they're like, is it supposed to be a drama? Well, everybody's laughing. All right, it's a comedy now. He plays this like... Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, he plays this weird, like, factory owner who's secretly a communist. Isn't that right, brother? He's just this creepy guy, and most of the clips I've seen are really like, and everybody, it was a movie and it became a show later, so they love the character because he's just weird. He's just a weird little dude, and he's being played by, one of the greatest human chameleons that ever lived.
Inspector Clouseau.
There is on TikTok. There's a shop in Seattle. It's a video store, and they go through. Apparently, it's like a giant store, and they literally have thousands upon thousands of videos. Yeah. I'm wondering if they might have that show.
Oh, I'm sure they do. If it's some warehouse like that, because I've seen. I saw his one movie he was in, and it's the problem with. England comes up with really good plot things, but some of their dialogue goes back and forth, or it's a little strange. But then you have these amazing actors. So you have like we were talking about that actually too, where it comes from over the pond, where Sanford and Son was Steptoe and Son, Three's Company, even The Office. The Office was an English show long before Steve Carell was cast to be Michael Scott, and there's many others. It's not just those few.
Kind of funny you mentioned that because today my mother came over and I was helping her with some things that she needed to do on the computer. And she had mentioned that she is now a convert to BritBox, the streaming service. I mean, growing up, we always watched all the British comedies, so we enjoyed all that stuff that PBS would put up. And then during the early days of some of the cable channels where you could find things like that, or you could find it sometimes in other areas, you go to LA or you go to San Francisco to visit family, and these things would pop up because they had them available, because they had independent or locals or others that would do that.
Yeah.
And so she was always a big fan of Brit television, drama, comedy, all of it. And I grew up, I was indoctrinated early and found a lot of the good stuff. But she has taken 2 streaming services now because she has found out that she can find things like that. BritBox has a new one that she was just raving about. And it's, I think they call it Shetland, and it takes place in the Shetland Islands. But this one's kind of a police drama. But it's one of those things. She was telling me, how much of a police drama can you have on the Shetland Islands? On an island where you have 1,000 people? It's really well written. It's got some really great dialogue and things like that. But it's not, she says, it is definitely not Magnum PI. It is definitely not, New York, NYPD Blue or any of the rest of that stuff.
Miami Vice.
Yeah. You're not, there won't be,
cocaine?
Nobody's going to be bringing 100 keys in a scarab to the Shetland Islands. You'll be lucky if somebody's got a fishing trawler that they're going to make it there.
Did either of you watch Broadchurch?
Parts of it.
I have seen bits and pieces.
What did you guys think of Broadchurch?
It was good. Well, it's English cop drama. I'm down.
Right.
I'm
right. And David Tennant, hello.
Prolific actor, Shakespearean actor. He's great as Killjoy in Jessica Jones.
Right.
I mean, you get a little bit of him. I mean, again, this is a guy who's famous for playing Richard III.
No, he's
Richard
famous for playing Harry Potter.
Yeah. Which
he was in Harry Potter. He was Barty Crouch Jr.
Barty Crouch Jr. only for that's another crime where Hollywood needs to make a decision. Are you going to make a movie for the fans, everybody, or people who have never fucking seen this before? That's what you need to do. And Lord of the Rings has proven that maniacs like me will sit through over 9 hours of a movies, and just keep switching the discs out. Go, war, here we go. So, and when the kids were sick, and Hannah in her adulthood, she says even to my adult, I'm sick, and I'm going to stay home from work, and I can hear your voice. Okay, pick one. What are we going to watch today? Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, what And I would, I couldn't sit on the couch with them all, obviously all day, because either I would have chores to do or stuff, but, they were watching the movies while they were home from school. So we will sit through movies of a thing that we like. I posted that on the thing. Did you guys see that? That series that I was trying to remember the name of is actually called The Seventh Sword?
Huh. I did see that.
Yeah.
I might have, yeah.
David Duncan is a Canadian author, and a goddess gets this guy from a chemical plant who's like he dies. And she puts him in this barbarian body, kind of like Guardians of the Flame where Carl goes into Barack or whatever the name of the warrior, even though he becomes Carl Cullinane, is in a different body, and he has to be her champion. Apparently, it was a 3 or 4 book series, so I have to get that and read it.
Wasn't that the original Robert E. Howard premise, that the person that became the barbarian was somebody who somehow had transitioned, and all the tales were him telling what he had suddenly come into as he was transported there. And there was no great talk about the transport, but it was, that he had come from the modern world at the time, which was the 1920s, and had been transformed into the character that he became.
Howard had problems. Howard really believed that Conan from the Sumerian world came to his house and would stand behind him with his axe in his hand and force him to write the book. And he would have to keep writing and keep writing, even if he stayed up for days until Conan left, and then he could end the story. That's schizophrenia. You need help.
Wow. Somebody needs to make a movie about that.
Dude, I've been in didn't they do it? It's called The Barbarian. I haven't seen it yet. Sorry.
So,
that's a totally
no.
That's a homicidal slasher horror movie. I haven't seen that yet.
Yes, I've seen The Barbarian.
Oh, you have? Was it good? Oh, sorry, Rob. Go.
Somebody needs to make a movie about that.
About Robert E. Howard, how he got there, about his life and how he became. That would be an interesting tale to tell. The problem is, I would want it to be written and told in more of an, for lack of a better term, an art house style, because this needs to be a true tale. And I don't want it to be Joker, and I don't want it to be, I don't want somebody to be focused in on, okay, we're going to open up with 30 minutes of Robert E. Howard and how he got here, and then we're going to go into Conan. No. We need to know what happened.
All I can think of is The Fisher King right now with Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
It's half the movie you're like, and the other half you're like, oh my God, this guy is fucked up.
This guy, he's lost his mind.
Robin Williams is crazy.
And there were a number of those authors at that time who had similar concerns, but very few of them had gone as far around the bend as Robert E. Howard had gone.
Fitzgerald. I mean, not everybody can be Hunter Thompson. Obviously, we can't all go do a whole bunch of mushrooms and
it's
take
who wrote the stories? Who wrote the Cthulhu tales and all of that?
H.P.
Lovecraft. Lovecraft was another one who had some. He really had, at some point in time, either consciously or unconsciously, he had some kind of a psychotic break to create some of these tales and characters and whatnot.
Yeah, because those are horrific tales if you read.
Another one, I had the privilege of meeting Clive Barker a couple of times. Really, this incredible English gentleman. I mean, when you met him, you would not have equated him to Pinhead by any stretch of the imagination. You would not have equated him to the Books of Blood. The Books of Blood would have been the last thing. You would have thought, this guy writes stories about, British war heroes in World War I, or this guy's writing these beautiful Arthurian tales, I think, very well spoken, very intelligent. And sat down with him and my friend Dave, and we were sitting there for an hour and a half, just having a conversation like the three of us are having now. And Dave turned to him after that. He looked at him. He says, I've read all your books. Because I've seen your, at the time he had written a children's book. He said, you are one fucked up individual. And Clive just looked at him with that wry little English smile, kind of laughed. And he says, well, we all have our crosses to bear, something like that. And you just thought, yeah, this guy, okay. There was, at some point in time, there was a psychotic break for him, and these tales came out.
It happened.
Even Stephen King is another one that I would think along those lines at certain times, because he traveled so far into that darkness, but he was able to come out again.
Which who?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he was another one that traveled the dark road and was able to come back, but he couldn't help but keep going back.
Yeah, I think Stephen King has more of the ADD, because I remember I think around the time of Cat's Eye or Creep Show, they were interviewing him and they were asking about his writing style. And he said, most of all, it comes from, okay, here's what happened. All right. But wouldn't it be weird if this happened on top of that? And that's how he kind of just builds. Like, I understand that method of creating stories. Yes. My mind also won't stop putting things together.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily go traveling.
What?
I'm gonna step away for just a minute, so I'm gonna end my part, okay. And then I'll come back.
We're on for until Rob says it's time. He's the timekeeper of the council.
Okay.
Council timekeeper. That's another title for you.
There we go. Yeah, but the difference is you can travel down that road, but Stephen King and Clive Barker and a lot of the truly good horror storytellers can travel down an incredibly dark road and come up with some things that most of us would stop and say, no, I can't continue down that path. I have to turn around and come back. And they are able to continue down that path. And then after they've found what they feel to be an appropriate stopping point, then they come back and you think, wow, there's something there, something in that psyche that allows them to truly embrace that dark side of their mind, that dark side of their heart, and bring that out and show it or write it and say, here's something I found, and I hope that you receive it in the same manner I'm putting it forward. I'm not a psychotic mass killer. I'm not going to go out and do this myself, but if we put it on celluloid, I'll happy to watch it with you.
I'll sit down, yeah. My cats are having a night. At one point, a back door blew open and Steele escaped out into the yard. And he didn't want to come back in, so I'm hoping the door's still closed. So yeah, it's been that kind of night. Graham Greene passed away today.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Kicking Bird is no longer with us.
Yeah.
That's a huge blow to the acting community because he was just awesome in everything that he was in. He was in Red.
I like to believe that with him having passed over, I like to believe that he's sitting with Chief Dan George, and he's sitting with Iron Eyes Cody, and he's sitting with all of those greats, those truly great First Nation actors, and they're sitting there just telling stories and having a good time.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm going to think about it.
Smoking peace pipe.
Just having a field day.
Yeah, it's very sad because God, he's been in damn near everything for a long time. Another one.
Did you ever see what is it? American Gods. Did you ever watch that series?
No, I haven't. I've only seen clips of it, but he's a character called Whiskey Jack.
Well, yeah, he's the First Nation god. So he is the First Nation god. So as Odin shows up in his area, he and Odin do not get along well because Odin's men, Odin's worshippers came and killed his worshippers when they first arrived. That's one of the things that they show in the series, and I'm sure it's written in more detail in the books. And that was a very interesting thing. But I've always enjoyed his work, and I've always liked the way he played. I always liked the way he played his characters, regardless of what member of the First Nations he was trying to portray.
Yeah,
he did an extraordinary job. He did exemplary in the way he presented.
Yeah, no, he's a very talented actor. I was reading his profile. He did a lot of Shakespeare work. He's played in Ontario, where he went to college. He did a lot of Shakespeare. The Shylock in Merchant of Venice.
He was. I was going to say. I thought he was a Canadian.
Canadian native.
Canadian member of the First Nation. I don't like to say Native American because it's I was always taught that it was the First Nation.
That it's always easy just to use their tribe. Oh, it's Navajo, Hopi, Apache. That's easy. Well, Pima, but you got to know what tribe they are. And if you say the wrong tribe, now you've just made an enemy. Dude, I don't know. I'm a white guy. Leave me alone. I'm not here to. Oh God, can't we just get past that? So yeah.
I would like to apologize unreservedly, and I will see myself out.
Yes, you're all upset. So terrible. No, I am. We got into a big discussion about cinema while you were gone. We got into a lot of discussions while you were gone. And
it's good when I leave.
No, that's not what I meant. I had to fill in the time. Poor Kris. Thank him so much, because he had to take over while I'm running around the backyard because Steele did not want to come in. I'm out past curfew. This is awesome. Never coming back. So yeah.
Yep, he was the adolescent. Fuck you!
I'm like, yeah, get back in the house, get back in the house. And he's climbing the gate. Okay, I'll be back. See you later, Gabbett. No! I had to grab him. Now he's over here lying, ignoring me. He knows I'm talking about him. His ears are moving.
I ended up coming out into the shop because it's for this time of year, it's nice out right now.
Yes, it is.
So I've got the phone running. I'm off of the Wi-Fi so that we don't hopefully have the freeze. And I'm just sitting out here watching the calm in between, I guess, the storm. I've got clouds to the west, clouds to the east, and clouds to the north, but no more rain right now.
You're just sitting
we'll
watching
see what
the
we
wheels
get.
Go round and round?
Actually, I've got one of those guys with a little side-by-side Can-Am, and he's gone up and down the street probably 7 times since I came out here.
Yeah, your neighbors.
It's like,
awesome.
Are you trying to run it out of gas or what? What are you doing?
You and I have good neighbors. I was helping out Harold, and the guys that live behind him are not good neighbors. Normal neighbors do not take shovelfuls of dirt and throw it in another neighbor's up-ground pool. That's not normal.
No.
People don't do that shit.
That's not kind. That's when, if you were vicious, that's when you go to all the other neighbors who have dogs and you offer to clean up their backyards and then throw it over the fence. But I'm not suggesting anything. I would never suggest that kind of thing.
Yes,
I would.
It's the Ford and Chevy bizarre weirdness. I don't know. Because you figure you're restoring old cars, he's restoring old cars. You guys should get along. You've got old trucks, he's got old trucks. No.
It's funny. I get a kick out of that because I grew up at the ranch, and we always had Fords up at the ranch. Grandpa had the old pickup truck. He had the van. We had the old 48. We had the tractor. So he always had Fords around. So I always thought of that. That was great. Dad had the old Falcon pickup truck. And then later on, he bought a great big Cadillac because he wanted to have the Cadillac. So he and my mom and my sister and I could travel wherever we needed to go and do it in style. And that was fine.
Yeah.
But, never had anything but Fords until that Cadillac showed up. So I was indoctrinated into the Ford world that way as a kid. And later on, Grandpa taught me, didn't matter. Does it work? Okay, then that's the right vehicle. That's a good vehicle. Does it start and stop and do all the things you want it to do in between? Congratulations.
We were unloading the...
And
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and later on, it became a matter of, people would talk about, well, like you had said with some of the guys you've been meeting over time, you've got the guys that, well, you're going to build that 48 Ford, you got to put a Ford V8 in it. No. You got to build it like a hot rod. You got to put the Chevy V8 in it. And then Grandpa was the guy, what kind of motor you got sitting over there? What is that?
Yeah. Well, that's an old.
Is that a Chrysler?
Yeah.
Bring that over here.
We'll just change the
You got a transmission that fits it? Bring that over here.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Let me show you how to put that in here. What do you got over here? Is that a 2JZ out of a Toyota?
Yeah.
Out of a Datsun? Bring that over here. Let me show you how to put that in.
This is the same argument that I have where the fans are the toxic part of anything. The Star Wars and Star Trek thing, Lucas and Roddenberry, they shook hands. Roddenberry told Lucas, I really enjoyed Star Wars. It was awesome. And Lucas told Roddenberry, that's great. I watch Star Trek every day when I'm writing the movie.
Yeah.
So he was like watching Star Trek while he was writing Star Wars.
Yeah.
What do you have in the fandom? Star Trek and Star Trek. Dude, it's all about space. I don't understand. Not only that, if you're a Jedi fan, shouldn't you be promoting peace? And if you're a Star Trek fan, doesn't the Federation work for peace first? So they're what?
Oh, yeah.
But it's the same with any fandom where you've got, people in football, Rams and Eagles and Cowboys, and you've got all this animosity for these teams' rivalry. You're all enjoying the same thing.
What I enjoyed was
all
that
here for the same reason.
For so long, you had scientists, actual people with scientific backgrounds, who were getting involved with these big sci-fi programs. They enjoyed it. They were helping out. They wanted to be there. Roddenberry had some kind of background in it. He had a number of people that worked with him who had a long background. You had guys like, I used to get a kick, Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov. And these are guys that had incredible scientific and academic backgrounds. And they decided, you know what? I'm going to tell some interesting tales, too. I'm going to have a good time with this. I get a kick out of it now because I watch Neil deGrasse Tyson loves to nitpick and go after things in sci-fi. But he does it with tongue firmly planted in cheek. He's not tossing anybody under the bus. He just say, this was so cool on screen. Yeah. The reality is it would be like this. But this was so cool on screen.
You don't have to be a super critic about it. Just have fun with it. No, that's interesting that you brought up those two exact names because that's what we talked about while you were gone. Because Arthur C. Clarke and the whole, open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. And I've got a couple of his books that I haven't read. But he also wrote that story that they redid in Futurama where Earth is bebopping along and then all of a sudden an alien spacecraft, several of them, come and they just kind of hang out in our atmosphere for a couple generations. And then when they finally come out of the ship, they look like demons. They have fangs and horns and wings and tails. And they were like, we couldn't just come out when we arrived because we knew that you'd flip out because we know all about your culture. So we had to show you that we were no threat. So basically, they're there to usher humanity into its pure energy state. And that's the whole premise of the book. And it's like that episode where Professor Farnsworth and Professor Banjo get in the argument about evolution, and then they go to the asteroid and they put them in jail. We were in jail long enough. We evolved, and none of that matters anymore. We're leaving. Good luck to you. That's pretty much how the book goes. It's a way more modern representation of the story, but that's pretty much it.
Well, that story has been told numerous times. It probably hasn't been, well, I'm sure it's been credited somewhere in the closing credits in a number of movies where the same premise comes about. The alien goes up, but the aliens have to be very careful about how they present themselves. And then in some instances, they present themselves and they're mistaken, even in a modern society, they're mistaken for being uh, emissaries of God and heaven.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the other side that says, oh, no, they can't possibly be. So it's got, and that builds off and goes on. And then the others, there's others where the aliens show up and they try to present themselves in such a fashion that they can try and present themselves as being helpful, but their idea of helpful and the idea of the indigenous is two different things.
Yeah. I have to go back and, well, I read Something Wicked This Way Comes, and I think I started Fahrenheit 451 in high school, but I never finished it. And then I kind of want to really reread or I read part of it, but I didn't finish it, The Martian Chronicles, because I was watching clips of the show, and I barely remember that show, because it was on the same time as like Battlestar Galactica and The Phoenix and then later Incredible Hulk and all that, But there's that great conversation between the human and the Martian. No, you're the past. Your world is dead. We're the now. No. We're now. This is ruins. No, this is a thriving city. What the hell are you talking about? It's year this. No, it's year this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember reading the Martian Chronicles in school, and I remember that being, and of course we never read the whole series. They selected sections, and it was very cool to have that program available too. We're like, oh, and the teacher's like, I've seen it. You can't write on it.
Well, we're obsessed with Mars, since the 1800s.
Yeah.
Really. It's got to be civilization there.
Before that.
No, it's just the nature. We're a fluke.
Yeah,
we're everywhere.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, even now, there is a spaceship heading towards Earth. They're going to look exactly like us. It's going to be like Star Trek. Finally, new plot lines.
The spaceship is heading to Earth because they haven't been here yet. So think of it this way. It's, the spaceship that is headed this way is strictly from the Upper Peninsula, who's never been to Arizona and never been to the Navajo Nation. And they're cruising through and looking around going, oh my goodness.
What is this?
So,
these guys are insane. It's have you guys seen the movie Real Men with Jim Belushi and John Ritter?
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember that.
Jim Belushi he's an actual agent for the government, but John Ritter is just a normal guy, and the movie is really silly. It's a action comedy like Undercover Blues or so many of the others, or even the movies with Igor and Sky High that we talked about, where it's just fun. Don't think too much about this. But halfway through the movie, it's like the aliens, the people upstairs, and he's like, "What? Aliens? What do you mean? No, there's real aliens. The government's been dealing with the aliens for decades, for a long time." So Jim Belushi explains to him that there's coming a time where the Earth is going to pick a dignitary to talk to the aliens, because the aliens have given us a choice. To save humanity, do you want the big gun or the special box? So with the big gun, the special box holds a formula, because what humanity doesn't know is our meddlings with things. We've actually accidentally, in that storyline, we've accidentally killed off all of the oxygen-producing algae in the ocean. So the Earth only has like 20 years. I think whoever started the climate change was a big fan of this movie. So at the very end of the movie, Jim Belushi sends John Ritter, because he's like, I can't do it. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, no, I'm an agent. They're going to know that immediately. If you go, you're just a normal guy. That's who the aliens want to deal with. They don't want to deal with people from the government. They'll run away. So he finally gets to meet the alien, and the first thing John Ritter says is, "You look just like us." Well, yeah, we're all brothers of man in this galaxy. Which do you wish? The big gun or the special box? Oh, I want the good box. I think that's what it's called. Big gun or the good box. And John Ritter, of course, he's playing a wholesome character, gets the box and gives it to the government, and the world is saved. One of the funniest parts of the movie is that they're coming out of this one building, and all of a sudden, just nonchalantly, John Ritter was like, "What are those clowns doing over there?" And Jim Belushi looks over and he goes, "Holy shit, clown attack!" And all of a sudden, the clowns that were just walking down the street in a group scatter and start doing a military hand signal in clown and full makeup with the wigs and the big shoes, and they have guns. It's the fun. That part of the movie I watch again and again and again. It's like I posted the movie Bad Medicine with Steven Guttenberg and Curtis Armstrong and Julie Carter and like and Taylor Negron plays a kind of questionable cab driver. "I'll give you a special discount," because he's taking advantage of all the Americans. And then he tells them one night that he ratted out his cousin, and his cousin got killed by the local police. But what he doesn't know is, "Hey, you've got an extra friend tonight in the cab." "Oh, yeah, this is Manuel. He had too much to drink tonight." Really, in reality, it's a corpse. They've basically stolen a cadaver out of the thing, and they're taking it back to their apartment to help with their anatomy lessons for school. So all of a sudden, the guy's hat falls off because it's a Weekend at Bernie's thing. Years before Weekend at Bernie's comes back, and Taylor Negron looks in the rearview mirror, sees the dead guy's face, and screams out, "Mother of God, it's Gonzalez!" "My cousin, I ratted him out." So then they have to explain to him that he's dead. It's like, "I'm just going to let you know. I'm going to charge you extra for this." It's a funny Three Stooges kind of sequence, because then the cops are involved, and they have to convince the cops that he's alive. He's drunk. Dead drunk. Yeah, he had a lot to drink today. Like that scene in Clue when they're trying to convince the cop that oh yeah, he's drunk too. We'll get him a car home, a long black car, a limousine. Yeah. It's one of those moments. That's good.
Oh my gosh.
I was talking about how you were talking about BritBox, and you may want to steer your mom over to a show called Dad's Army that I learned about through Paul. I found it on YouTube. And then for a while, they had it on Netflix. And it's basically, Paul described it as, during this time slot in time, you guys had Cheers, we had Dad's Army. And it's not half Hot Mom and Blackadder and the young ones. And so the premise of the show is, we were just talking about this earlier, all the young men are gone, so all the old dudes have to protect the island.
Yep.
And it's just
I remember Dad's Army.
Shenanigans.
And I remember it about the time of Red Dwarf.
I love
So I think it was being shown on somebody's PBS or somebody's limited access channel somewhere that I got to see some of those. Because Red Dwarf showed up on PBS local. I remember that.
I remember I saw a T-shirt at a comic book store that said Smeg Off on it. And I was asking people, and no one knew what it was. And then like a month or two later, I saw it wasn't the first episode, which I have seen since. The end is the first episode of Red Dwarf, where everyone dies but Lister and the cat. Well, Lister. But I didn't know what the hell is Smeg Off. And I didn't know it was a book series before it became. And I think Christine got me one of the books. Because Rimmer's a little bit different in the books than in the show. He's still a giant asshole, but he's a little more ultra jock. A little more of a physical force to deal with before he becomes a hologram. Red Dwarf is brilliant because it's one of those, here's a limited area, now write decades worth of dialogue for these guys out in the middle of space, nowhere. There's only a handful of them. Everybody they meet is hostile.
Yep, you have four characters.
Where can you watch Red Dwarf? Is it on any streaming at all?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have any DVDs of it as much as I love the show.
I thought it was back. I thought it was back again somewhere.
The best part of Red,
because there were some new episodes that had come out in the last, I want to say in the last 10 years ago, because everybody was older and you're looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I recognize it.
Do you know the premise? Do you understand what the show's about?
Who, me? I've seen some episodes like a long time ago. You know, I've seen them, but I've never fully immersed myself in them. Like, same with Doctor Who. I mean, I've heard of Doctor Who before the remake or the new ones. I had watched some, but I've never really deep dove into them.
Your introduction to Doctor Who is based on who hands it to you and says, watch this. So, or you can find out like most Americans did where, like, talking to Paul.
PBS.
Well, PBS. But talking to Paul, John Pertwee, Doctor Number 3, was Paul's doctor. My doctor is Tom Baker, Number 4, because that was the first doctor I saw on PBS when I was a kid, when they were playing the reruns for Americans late at night or early in the morning on PBS. And then like Hannah, her first doctor is Christopher Eccleston, because we got season 9 and started watching it. All of them are great. And Tennant is number 10. But it's how you're introduced to him is what doctor becomes your favorite doctor. I guess the same thing would be Dumbledore if you didn't watch 1 and 2 and you only watched 3 on, and then, well, Michael Gambon is my Dumbledore. No, Richard Harris. The guy that gets his ass kicked in Unforgiven. He's Dumbledore.
And Baker was the most popular only because he was the longest lived. He did 7 seasons.
A lot of them.
He had the longest run of any of the actors who played the character, and so he became the most popular by that for the longest time because you had seen him the most.
I would say.
And Baker's the one with the scarf, right?
Scarf is Tom.
Yeah. Baker's the one with the scarf.
Number 4. And
big afro, big curly hair.
William Hartnell set the stage, and he really kind of personified the aspect that the doctor is, because Doctor Who is the response. I'm the doctor. Doctor Who? Yes, exactly. That's pretty much the response for the interaction. He doesn't need to tell you his name or what he does. He's here to solve the problem. And he only shows up when shit is really going sideways. So you're not going to question it. You know, fix it. You know, that's what's going on. Hartnell, the first doctor, the actor said, this is going to be big. There's never been anything like this before. This is going to be groundbreaking. And he was right. So but his doctor is very indifferent to humans. He's way more focused on the people. It's his, I think, daughter or granddaughter that kind of humanizes his granddaughter. She humanizes him. She gets him to care more about, but you don't really get into the Time Lords and all this other stuff until like later into the first series. The second series, it's more of like, I can't remember that actor's name. I used to have it memorized. The guy with the Mo haircut and who's a very good actor. He kind of looks like Basil Rathbone. It's more of a Twilight Zone scenario where you're not into the development of the character, what he loves about, what he hates, what's his favorite color, does he like? And then with John Pertwee, number 3, it's the late 60s, so he's kind of like a sci-fi Starsky and Hutch character, where there's a lot more action. He's beating people up, and whoa, dude, he's a doctor. That's not what they do. And he's like, but
he becomes like the saint. He is an intelligent saint because he was a British program. So he became the personification in many ways of the original saint.
It's
but with this incredible intelligence and this incredible backstory of being a Time Lord. So he not only is he able to fight and protect himself and do all these other, but he's so quick-witted. He became one of the first to do kind of that quick-witted, the quick change, and to say, oh, wait a minute, let's do this. Come up with this new idea.
The other two are kind of supercilious. They're kind of like, well, you're just humans. You're like ants to me. Why the fuck should I care about this? Grandfather, and then all right. Where John Pertwee, like Rob just said, it was almost like they were trying to appeal to a younger audience, or you had a lot of backlash with, no, doctor, that's just some old granddad who just complains about everything and only does something when they. So they were really kind of the sidekick younger female becomes a trope early on in like the second episode, to keep the male audience coming back. They have her in a bikini in like the second episode, and she's hot. I can't remember it's like 1950 or 60. No, 63 Doctor Who started, because Doctor Who is the oldest sci-fi show we have. It's the first. Where the movie we were talking about, because even it isn't, Pertwee kind of like amps it up, like you said. He's got all this. But then with Tom Baker, they kind of take it sideways. He's not an action-adventure hero, even though he's strong and passionate. He's much younger than all the other actors. I mean, he's still alive now, and the rest of them are gone. And he's more of like a Willy Wonka character, like a Tesla character, where he's what they would describe as autistic today. But he's fully, oh, look at that. Oh, have a jelly belly. Hi. Oh, tomorrow when you're going to take this test, remember, question number 3 is C, not D. Okay, thank you. So he's more of this, like, Santa Claus kind of character for
and Pertwee built it. Pertwee started that thing. And then Baker kind of like really got the opportunity to run with it. And so Baker toned back on some of the physicality, but he would still fight. He would still knock out the other. He was willing to step in and fight with somebody else if needed be. But he really pulled out the intellectual side.
Yeah.
He showed up to say, okay, yes, I can destroy you very easily, but the other thing that I can do is I can create this component that's going to take your computers out. You can't live without your computers. You can't operate without your computers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop you there, or I'm going to show you something. And he was one of the first to start bringing the backstory of the Doctor and the things the Doctor had done that nobody knew about as fans, where certain aliens knew of the Doctor. And they either revered the Doctor or they were fearful of the Doctor.
Yeah, like the Daleks.
They were very careful around the Doctor because of what had occurred, the things that had been done. And so they really built that part of it for the years that he was there.
Yeah.
And now they play that continuously. That becomes something. So when you get these incredible alien groups that show up now in the program, and they get to a point where the Doctor has made his point, he's gotten to it, and more often than not, they'll pull out look at this hat, look at your history, look for the name, the Doctor.
They always want to blame him for everything. Yeah, whatever.
The aliens go, oh, we got to get out of here.
Bye. Well, the best thing about in Firefly, which is a lot like Blake 7, also a British show that came out years before. It's very, very similar. But it's different, but it's similar. It's the same kind of main plot line, but the scenarios for each individual character is different. So you've got this kind of scenario that I talk about all the time where Star Wars, a lot of the other ones, you have this giant engine running space where Doctor Who is more of impossible, deadly threats over somebody being in total charge. That being said, the Cybermen just kind of run their area. They don't run all of the galaxy. Same thing with the Daleks. Same thing with there's another superpower. The
Sonaran.
Yeah, the Suntaran.
Suntaran.
Those guys are.
Yeah, Suntaran.
But at least the Suntaran are a little different because they're kind of lawful evil. You can actually negotiate and work with them, where the Cybermen but that kind of puts it into because Farscape and Doctor Who have the same plot line where there isn't any help. We have to rely on ourselves. There's nobody to help us. Every little place we go will help us, or in Doctor Who, any kind of little English town we go to, there's like one scientist that knows what the fuck is going on. But other than that, we have to figure all of this out on our own and fix it. So that's a recurring theme in Farscape and Doctor Who. It's an excellent plot device. I'm not pointing it out to put it down. I wish I had thought of that.
The other thing I like about Doctor Who is the fact that the Time Lords themselves are and are not the overlords of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Because they have this incredible power, and they're known for this incredible power, and they're known for this ability to control, quite literally, to control time and space. And yet they have been, for the most part, benevolent about how they do it, but there are individuals who have chosen to separate,
like the Master
and to go about
Doctor.
the Master, and who was the other one that
There's like two more.
the toy maker,
Yeah.
and but the big thing about it was the Doctor at one point, Tom Baker, during his run, he became the president of Gallifrey.
Yeah.
And then decided he no longer wished to do that. Later on, they brought forward, when they decided they were really going to exercise the Doctor's powers, they brought forward the War Doctor. That was a marked change. But when you watched it, you thought, you said, okay, I know exactly why they pulled this character out after all of these years. This character is what the Doctor, every iteration of the Doctor, has always said he never wanted to be again.
Yeah, he's the one that
never wanted to do this.
I don't want to be
the
this
War
guy.
Doctor. Right. So the War Doctor had done it. And when we got to see the War Doctor perform, then we
John
knew,
Hurt.
oh yeah, this is why he never wanted to do it.
Harry Potter, one day you'd come into my shop. He's such an amazing actor. The Elephant Man. It's the Elephant Man. Get him.
When he's not creating wands, he's destroying the universe.
Not having xenomorphs jump out of his chest and Alien 79. John Hurt's amazing.
Yep, that was
It's Jesus.
That was the biggest change. That was the surprising change for me when they pulled that out of the hat.
Yeah.
Because they'd gotten to a point, and I guess they kind of sat down, and somebody said, let's go back and let's pull this forward so we can elaborate on it.
Well,
and they did a great job.
They did. Every genre only has so many plots. So that's where you have to stack plot parts and pieces and make whole new ones. So, I mean, Tolkien's just, Lord of the Rings is just them walking around. Well, they don't have fucking spaceships. Well, yeah, it's going to take a while. They can't teleport. Sorry. Where Star Trek has shit happening and Star Wars and all that. Because I was thinking about it, and it's like, The Daleks and the Cybermen are likened to the Borg in
Star Trek.
Thank you. Where you're just going to be destroyed. You're assimilated with the Cybermen and the Borg, but the Daleks, you're disgusting, and we don't want you in our universe. Whereas, here's where I am lacking, because I have not read the books, nor have I encountered the race in Star Wars, but in canon, later on in the novels, there is a race called the Yuuzhan Vong, and
The Yuuzhan Vong, yeah.
they cause a whole lot of havoc in long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And I guess they would be up there with the Reavers or the Daleks or the Cybermen or the Borg, or so even in Firefly, or I'm sorry, I just did that one with the Reavers. Even in Farscape, you have the Scarran, because the Sebaceans are a pain in the ass. The Nibiru, the one that what's her name is, the ones that are all gray and have they're a pain in the ass, but they're all terrified of the Scarran. Where even in Red Dwarf, they're terrified of Gelfs, genetically engineered life forms. And there's like Gelf planets and stuff. It's like, because we've reached a Gelf planet. Oh, there's a transmission, and they play it, and it's all in Gelf. It doesn't make any sense. Use the universal translator, and you hear this first voice go, "You have entered Gelf space. Da-da-da-da-da. Welcome. Da-da-da-da. And here is the local message." And then you hear this other, much deeper voice go, "Death to the strangers!" Oh, we need to get out of here now.
Right. Roll them up, roll them up, roll them up.
Yeah, there's always this entity in the world or in the galaxy that wants to like wipe everybody out. I guess it would be the Harkonnen in Dune. I've never read the books. One series, Tom Coffey. Oh, I don't know. He might have even pushed this book on you, Rob. Tom Coffey gave me a book called The 97th Step by an author named Stephen Perry, who actually is the author of Shadows of the Empire, which is a brilliant book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's really
Awesome.
good. It gives you all of the backstory in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Everyone's like, why don't they make this a movie? Oh, fuck no. It would be 5 hours. Make it a series. Make it like 3 seasons. Done. Because it's one of those, okay, I'm following Luke. Now I'm following Leia and Chewie. Now this is going on. Now Zizor. Now, wait, okay, the Black Sun. Okay, now we're with Jabba. So Ben and Luke, and we're on Tatooine. Now we're on with the Rhodians. So it would make a terrible movie. It would be so confusing because but if you're reading it, it's like, oh, and the book's thick. It's what, 500 pages, 400 pages? It's
Something like that, yeah. It's not real long.
Zizor is basically Jabba the Hutt's boss, and he kind of falls madly in love with Leia or Ghana Skywalker, which becomes hugely problematic because he's a feline. He's like they're like lizard people.
They're like lizard.
Yeah,
they're
talons.
lizard. They use pheromones to
I remember
entice you.
When we were role playing and Cookie was still alive and DMing. He was like the Star Wars. He was a really good DM. He's up there with Rob, DM Rob in Paul's Circle. And Christine played one of those characters. She was a feline assassin. She was always using her pheromones to talk to him and negotiate. Oh, I use my pheromones on our roll. Yeah, he believes you. Nothing but the thing. Sexy lizard chick. But I'm trying to think of other... The 97th Step is actually like a prequel to a series called The Matadors. And there's no aliens, it's all humans, but it's basically one guy figures out how to bring down the giant engine that's running space. And the whole series, The Man That Never Missed, Emil Kadaji, is the guy's name, and he doesn't use guns. There's guns in the story. They're using laser guns and rifles and all kinds of shit. But he uses these things called specdods, and they kind of go over your forearm, and you lift up your middle finger. It's kind of like the Spider-Man web shooters, but you lift up your middle finger and they shoot darts, like fléchette, excuse me, not a French speaker, fléchette, darts, and he basically like creates an uprising. I think I read the 97 Step because that book is about the teacher of the guy that starts the revolution, and the book ends with the two of them meeting. So I was like, oh, I've heard about this Emil Kadaji guy, because anytime you read, what's the Matadors about? Emil Kadaji, okay, he's the main character of the whole, okay, he's Skywalker, got it. He's Captain Kirk, understood. So he's kind of the, but it was neat because it's also kind of equilibrium. The 97th Step is part of a kata that all of this Temple of the Shroud, or Brotherhood of the Shroud, and it's basically like space Shaolin monks.
Jedi.
Without the Force, but yes.
Without the Force.
Without the Force. There's no like Force. There's no Force. There's no aliens. It's more like Outland, or like Silent Running, or Firefly, where there's just no aliens. They're just not in the story. Whereas Farscape and Star Wars and Star Trek, oh my God, there's so many fucking alien races in Star Trek. Because when you buy the role-playing games, half of it is you just need to learn about all the races. Same thing with Star Wars. And certain races are better than other things, like the way Cookie described it. And he's like, here's this one race, and they look like giant chipmunks. Like, what are you, giant chipmunks? What, like at Disneyland? He's like, no. Do you remember in the first movie at the cantina in Mos Eisley, there's one little alien, and it squeaks, and it's going like this, and a guy comes over and he gives him a drink? That's what these things are. So they're basically like space chipmunks. They're like 3 feet tall, but they're amazing techs. They have a natural proclivity to technology. They can squeeze into all the spaces. I can't remember what the race is called.
Do you remember in the comic book? I don't know if you read the comic book back in the day, but they had the green bunny rabbit.
Yes, I do. And
you remember the green?
Yeah.
Jax was his name.
They
made that a race in there.
They did. They had the The weird thing is the way the Empire is kind of trying to slowly wipe out all of the. I mean, they're basically space Nazis. They have stormtroopers. They wear white suits where you can't tell who's under the mask, and the rest of the races pretty much deal with the Empire, and that's why it's so weird that there's all these parallel universe Star Wars realities now. Like the 7, 8, and 9 movies really have nothing to do with the original canon of 7, 8, 9. Yes, Han and Leia have kids, but it's a little different. There's twins, again, because Skywalkers always have twins. That's a thing.
It is a thing.
And it's... And they totally skipped over Mara Jade and her and Luke's relationship, and I can't remember what their kid's name is. But
probably Ben.
Probably. You have
Ben or Anakin. One of the two.
They have all of this focus on, like, especially in movie 1, 2, and 3, they get really into the Senate, but they don't Star Trek you on what all these races stand for. You just kind of go and deal with them in the movie. And I hate to say it, you're missing the C-3PO aspect of 1977, where C-3PO is a really annoying character. He's basically your screaming chick in the movie, because Leia is not a screaming. He's Sharon Stone in King Solomon's Mines, where all she does is fucking scream for 2 hours. It's amazing. So, but that he's a protocol droid. He's not for combat. He can't really even fire a gun. You wouldn't want him to. He'd accidentally shoot you by mistake because he doesn't know what he's doing. However, C-3 C3PO gives you a lot of tactile information for the world as an outsider that you wouldn't know unless you looked it up online. And in 1977, you didn't have time to look up online.
Because there was no online.
You run into all these different characters and you really don't know about them. Because if you think about it, A New Hope starts out in space. There's a war. You really don't know what's going on. Here's a hot princess. She has a robot. She's got secret plans. Oh no, they stunned her. These guys are dicks. Okay, death, this and that. Droids get into a pod. They leave. Now, what's weird about the first part of the movie is they never really get into the Tusken Raider aspect of it, nor the Jawas. The Jawas and the Tusken Raiders are just kind of these almost like Native Americans and Hispanics in Western mythos, where they're these characters that come up and they do these certain things, but then they're scared off or forced away by other characters that are more powerful and have. The sheriff has come when Ben comes and he scares off the Jawas and the Tusken Raiders and all that stuff. So C-3PO never really interacts with them, and you don't really get his take on things until you're later in the movie and you're dealing with Rebel Empire stuff towards the end. And even then, he doesn't really have any speaking parts after they leave the Death Star. Because he's in a room with R2 the entire time. And R2 is telling him what's going on as he's on the comm link with Han and, which is, again, I'm not, it's more like playing Star Frontiers Traveler or the role-playing game where this is stuff that would actually happen. And it isn't until like the second movie that you get into him knowing things. The odds of successfully navigating, never tell me the odds. It appears this asteroid is not entirely stable. Or one of my favorite Han Solo lines, Chewie, take the professor here back in and plug him into the Falcon. Because Han Solo hates droids. He doesn't like them. That's established in the first movie. But C-3PO doesn't really become useful in Han Solo's eyes until the third movie when the Ewoks think he's a god.
Right. Right.
And even Luke everybody yells at C-3PO, covers his mouth, smacks him. In Empire, he gets...
Shuts him off.
Yeah, they turn him off all the time. Where R2, they never do that to R2. R2's never turned off. R2 tells you he's going to power down, but he never... Yeah. All of his dialogue is bleeped. He's the most filthy character ever. I love that thing they did is that what if he was Samuel Jackson and it's all swearing? How the motherfucking should I know, motherfucker? You do the... Luke, you're a bitch. And all the... It's really funny. It's out there on YouTube. But that's another aspect of... if you were playing a role-playing game and you had an NPC protocol droid, you'd never stop asking that thing questions. In a world diverse as Star Frontier's later after you get out to the Rim. But in Star Wars or Star Trek, you've got so many races you want to have the upper hand. You're going to need a protocol droid. So in a way, in a sense, in a battle or in a espionage or subterfuge or any one of those scenarios, C-3PO is absolutely worthless. He's only pulling his weight when intelligence is involved. He's basically the intelligence aspect of all of, and not wisdom, because as we've seen in all the movies, you don't want to put him in charge of anything. It'll go terribly bad. 3PO! Ah, I'm sorry, Master Luke. But if you need to know information, I'm familiar in how many? 5 million forms of communication? Dude, we only have 200 plus languages on the Earth. Think about that for a minute. If you were just playing a normal human, which this has never made sense, and Ron and I dealt with this in a childhood friend from second grade on. There's always that one guy that plays a human in every game there is, whether it's a fantasy game or a sci-fi game or whatever. He's always a human. It's like, dude, there's elves and you're a human every day. Don't you want to be an orc today or a troll? It's a game. It's not real.
Comfort zone.
I think that's what it is.
I gotta go, gentlemen.
Oh my
I'm
God.
turning into a pumpkin.
Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll continue this rant next week, and hopefully the rest of the console will be back, and you make the most of it. You could have watched anybody, but you decided to watch us, and we thank you for that. You guys have a great night. I know I started to ramble. Sorry. Everyone's falling asleep.
No worries at all.
No worries.
Remember now, play nice. If you can't play nice, don't get caught.
Get caught.
Right.
Have a great one. Thank you very much.
Good night, guys.
Have a good one.